Welcome, dear friends, to a gentle journey through the whimsical and profound world of Adventure Time, where a simple land called Oo is full of magic, mystery, and heart. From the ancient ruins of a forgotten world to the tender bonds between unlikely companions, tonight we will meander through the tales of heroes, villains, and the hidden truths of this colorful realm. Together, we'll uncover the origins of the Ice King, the secrets of Princess Bubblegum, the melancholy of Marceline, and the adventures of Finn and Jake. Through every twist and turn, we'll explore the rich, emotional landscape of Oo, its kingdoms, its creatures, and its quiet, poignant moments. In this vast and fantastical universe, each story holds a whisper of something deeper, a quiet reflection of our own worlds, though wrapped in the layers of dreams and magic. So as you settle into the warmth of this moment, let your mind float gently to the land where the stars twinkle above candy-filled skies and the distant echoes of ancient powers hum softly in the night. Now, take a deep breath, my dear friends, and allow yourself to release the weight of the day. Feel the soft rise and fall of your breath, each exhale bringing a little more peace. Let your body relax, letting go of any tension. The world of O will be here for you, calm, gentle, and filled with stories that will carry you into the quiet embrace of sleep. And if you enjoy drifting through stories like this, you're welcome to subscribe and softly tell me where you're listening from tonight. Now, let us begin our journey into the land of O. The land of O is a place like no other, one where the fabric of time, space, and imagination weave together, creating a world that exists beyond the ordinary, beyond the familiar. But before O was the strange, colorful place we know today, it was something entirely different, a land reshaped by forces that no one truly understands. This is the beginning of Oo, before the castles and candy, before the heroes and the villains, and long before the adventures that would come to define its future. In the quiet echoes of the past, a world was born from a cataclysmic event, an explosion of magic and energy that shattered reality as it was known. It all started with the Great Mushroom War, a war that wiped out most of humanity and left behind a world forever altered. The remnants of this ancient battle lay scattered throughout the landscape, as silent and forgotten as the stories of those who lived through it. There are no simple answers to what happened, no clear picture of the people who fought and the reasons why they did. What remains, however, is a haunting reminder of the power that once existed, a power that in its destructive wake gave birth to the strange new world of Oo. The land itself carries traces of this lost time, from the cracked ruins that rise like ancient bones to the strange, otherworldly creatures that roam the land. Oo is a place where magic and history intertwine. The scent of the air feels thick with the weight of something ancient, something untold. The plants here grow in wild, twisted shapes, and the skies sometimes shimmer with a strange, iridescent light that suggests the influence of something beyond the ordinary laws of nature. And yet, it is a world where life blooms again, where even the remnants of destruction have found a place to thrive. In the early days, the world was still recovering, still learning to breathe again. The first beings to walk the land after the Mushroom War were not quite like the people we know today. They were creatures, strange and beautiful, born from the magic of the world. Princess Bubblegum, for instance, is one such being, a creation of science and sweetness, born from the remnants of the Mushroom War. Her kingdom, the Candy Kingdom, exists in a delicate balance between the sweet and the strange. It is a land of whimsy and wonder, yet also one of secrets, where even the most innocent of appearances can hide the deepest of mysteries. The past of O is a shadow that stretches far back into the mists of time. The magical essence that now flows through the land was born from the ashes of the old world, a world that has been lost to memory. There is a quiet, reverent sense that lingers in the air of O, a knowing that something larger is at play here, something that has shaped the land in ways we may never fully understand. The Ice King, once a man named Simon, carries within him the sorrow of a lost time, a time that cannot be reclaimed. His transformation into the lonely Ice King is both a tragic tale and a symbol of the irreversible changes that occurred during the Mushroom War. Ooh, with all its enchantment and oddities, is a place that bears the scars of the past. It is a land of contradictions, bitter and sweet, old and new, light and dark. It is a place where the past is never truly gone, but lingers in the corners, waiting to be uncovered. It is this past, with all its layers and mysteries, that calls to the hearts of those who wander through it. Finn and Jake, the two heroes of this tale, stumble into this world with nothing but each other and a sense of adventure. Yet even they, in their endless pursuit of fun and discovery, are touched by the remnants of the ancient world. For every adventure they have, every creature they meet, every kingdom they visit, they are unknowingly stepping deeper into the rich history of Oo. As Finn grows older and Jake continues to guide him with all the wisdom of a magical dog, they come to realize that the adventure they are on is not just a quest for fun, but a journey through the past, a journey to understand the world they now inhabit. Finn, with his bright eyes and unshakable courage, is a hero for a new world, a world that needs hope, that needs someone to stand up for it, even when the past seems impossible to understand. But this is only the beginning of their journey, and Oo still has so much more to reveal. The magic of the land is deep, its roots extending far beneath the surface. Every story, every legend, every myth in this world is a piece of a much larger puzzle. Oo is a place where time doesn't move in straight lines, where the past can be felt in the present, and where every adventure has a deeper meaning. It is a place where the echoes of the Mushroom War still reverberate in the hearts of those who live in its shadow. Finn and Jake, along with all the characters who call Oo home, will come to realize that their adventures are not just about battles and quests. They are about uncovering the stories that have shaped the land they love. Each piece of lore they discover, each connection they make, brings them one step closer to understanding the true nature of Oo and the forces that shaped it. And as the stars twinkle overhead, the night grows still, and the land of Oo stretches out before us, full of wonder, full of mystery, full of untold stories waiting to be told. When we first meet Finn and Jake, the land of Oo is already full of mysteries and untold stories. Yet it is these two unlikely companions, one a human boy, the other a shape-shifting magical dog, who will bring new life and purpose to the land. Their bond, founded on a shared love of adventure and an unwavering friendship, becomes the heartbeat of this world, infusing it with the hope and joy that seems so easily lost in the wake of the Mushroom War. Finn, the only human in Oo, carries the weight of that distinction with a quiet pride. His story is one of discovery and growth, from the boy who woke up in a small treehouse with no memory of his past to the brave adventurer who would later face great challenges. His heart, full of courage and a desire to do what is right, is matched only by his youthful curiosity and innocent optimism. He is a hero not because of his abilities, but because of his pure hearted desire to protect those around him. Jake, his loyal companion, is the perfect foil to Finn's earnestness. A magical dog with the ability to stretch and shift his form, Jake brings a sense of laid back joy to their adventures. He is the voice of reason, offering wisdom and humor, yet also showing a deep care for Finn despite his seemingly carefree demeanor. Together, they form an unbreakable team, united by more than just their love for exploration. They share a bond that transcends the typical friendship, a true brotherhood that is tested and strengthened with each passing adventure. Their early days together are full of light-hearted escapades and playful battles with the various strange creatures that populate Ooh. Whether they are rescuing princesses, battling evil monsters, or simply having fun in the strange, enchanted forests, the sense of joy they bring to Ooh is palpable. Yet beneath these carefree adventures lies a deeper undercurrent, a yearning for purpose, for understanding of the world they inhabit, and above all, for family. Finn's search for his family, in particular, becomes one of the central themes of his journey. With no memory of his parents, he often wonders if he is the last of his kind. This longing is felt deeply, for in a world filled with magical creatures and strange kingdoms, Finn is alone in his humanity. His quest to find his origins is one of both self discovery and the desire to connect with something larger than himself. Along the way, he meets many different beings, some friends, some foes, and yet it is in the relationships he forms that he begins to learn what it means to be human. Through the care and support of his friends, Finn slowly begins to realize that family's not always defined by blood. It is found in the bonds we form with others, in the shared laughter and tears, in the way we support each other through the trials of life. For Jake, the notion of family is not as mysterious. He was raised by his parents, and though he has his own challenges and growth, his loyalty to Finn is unwavering. He knows the importance of love and companionship, but he also understands the importance of balance. His wise and relaxed nature provides a grounding force for Finn, especially in times of doubt. Jake is often the one who reminds Finn that it's okay to take a step back, to appreciate the simple moments, and to enjoy the adventure itself rather than focusing solely on the end goal. Jake is both a protector and a guide, offering not only wisdom but also humor, helping to remind Finn that life, even in the midst of challenges, is something to be enjoyed. As they continue to explore the land of Ooh, Finn and Jake's relationship with the other inhabitants of this magical world deepens. They meet Princess Bubblegum, a ruler with a brilliant scientific mind, whose kingdom of candy is as sweet as it is fraught with political and personal intrigue. Despite her often distant demeanor, Princess Bubblegum becomes an important figure in their lives, someone who challenges them to think deeply about their actions and their consequences. Though Finn's romantic feelings toward her evolve over time, their friendship remains a key part of his development, as she teaches him about leadership, responsibility, and the sometimes painful choices that come with power. Marceline, the vampire queen, adds another layer of complexity to Finn and Jake's world. As a creature of the night, she is both a figure of mystery and an embodiment of the pain of loss. Her relationship with Finn is layered with both camaraderie and tension, especially as Marceline grapples with her own past, the weight of her immortality, and the emotional scars left by her strained relationship with her father, Hunson Abadir, the ruler of the Nightosphere. Marceline's music, her art, and her personal struggles add depth to the world of Ooh, reminding Finn and Jake that even in a land filled with candy and magic, there are darker emotions at play: loneliness, longing, and the also need to find one's place in the world. Their journey also brings them into contact with other figures who challenge their perceptions of Ooh. Flame Princess, a fiery force of nature, becomes another key figure in Finn's emotional development. Her own journey of self discovery mirrors Finn's in many ways, as they both struggle with the power they wield and the consequences of their actions. Their relationship, which begins with love and excitement, evolves as both characters learn to navigate their personal struggles with identity and control. But it is not just the people they meet that shape their adventures. The very land of Ooh itself holds mysteries that Finn and Jake will only begin to unravel. The strange creatures they encounter, some adorable, some terrifying, each carry their own lore, their own histories. Whether it's the shy, elusive snail who always seems to be watching, or the dark forces lurking in the shadows of the land, Ooh is a place that is constantly changing, constantly revealing new secrets, even as it remains steeped in ancient magic. As Finn and Jake embark on their adventures, they come to understand that the world of Ooh is not just a backdrop for their playful journeys. It is a living, breathing entity, one that holds the weight of its own history and the potential for future change. Each quest, each adventure, becomes a piece of a much larger puzzle, and as they begin to uncover the truths of Oo's past, they realize that their own paths are intricately woven into the fabric of the land they love. Their bond with each other, with the friends they make, and with the very world around them will be what sustains them through the trials ahead. Together, Finn and Jake bring joy to a world that, despite its beauty and magic, has been shaped by loss, by conflict, and by the scars of a forgotten time. And in their simple, unassuming friendship, they offer Ooh the hope of something new, a future that can be written by the choices they make and the bonds they form, in a world that is still healing from the wounds of the past. There is a sadness that clings to the Ice King, an old sorrow wrapped in the coldness of his crown. The tale of Simon Petrikov, the man who would become the Ice King, is one of tragic loss, of love lost to time, and of a mind fraying at the edges. It is a story not of villainy, but of a broken heart, a soul drifting into madness in the wake of catastrophe. Simon was once a man of great intellect, a kind-hearted individual who worked as an antiquarian, a collector of rare and ancient artifacts. His world was one of quiet study, filled with the warmth of books, artifacts, and the companionship of a fiancée named Betty. Together, they dreamt of a life beyond the ordinary, a life where love and intellect could intertwine, where they could explore the mysteries of the world hand in hand. But the advent of the Great Mushroom War shattered all their hopes. The war, with its terrible magic and endless destruction, was a force that transformed not just the land of Ooh, but the very fabric of reality itself. Simon's transformation into the Ice King began innocently enough, with his acquisition of a strange crown, an artifact that promised to amplify the power of its wearer. It was a magical relic of unknown origin, and at first it seemed like a harmless trinket, but as Simon put it on, it began to change him. The crown warped his mind, slowly erasing his memories and turning his once noble and gentle nature into something cold, something driven by the overwhelming need to possess and control. The transformation was not immediate, but it was insidious, creeping into his mind and heart like the cold itself, freezing everything it touched. As the Ice King, Simon's past became a distant memory, a faded dream that he could no longer grasp. The love he had once shared with Betty slipped away from him, leaving only the bitter, icy void where her presence had once been. He tried to hold on to her memory, but the crown twisted his mind further, distorting his thoughts and rendering his memories hazy and fragmented. Betty, once the light of his life, became a distant shadow, a name that he could no longer connect to the love he had once known. The sadness of this loss became his constant companion, a heavy burden he carried with him wherever he went. The Ice King, as he is known to the inhabitants of Oo, is a tragic figure, a villain of circumstance rather than choice. He is not inherently evil, but rather a broken man who has been consumed by the very magic he once sought to control. His actions, while often seen as cruel or thoughtless, are driven by a desperate need for connection, a desire to reclaim the warmth of his former self. In his attempts to find love and companionship, the Ice King often finds himself pushing others away, his actions dictated by the loneliness that gnaws at his heart. He kidnaps princesses, not out of malice, but out of a misguided need for affection, an unconscious longing for the relationship he once had with Betty. Despite his behavior, there is a tenderness to the Ice King, a vulnerability that becomes apparent in moments of clarity. When his memories surface, however fleetingly, they bring with them the weight of his past. He remembers Betty, her face, her voice, the warmth of her presence, and in those rare moments, a flicker of the man he once was shines through the ice that surrounds him. But those moments are fleeting, and the crown pulls him back into the cold darkness, leaving him adrift in a world that he no longer fully understands. Finn and Jake, ever the adventurers, are some of the few who come to understand the Ice King's true nature. Though they often find themselves at odds with him, they begin to see the broken man beneath the crown, a man who was once filled with love and dreams, but has been lost to the ravages of time and magic. Through their interactions, they come to realize that the Ice King's actions are not born of malice, but of a deep and unshakable sadness, a sadness that he cannot escape. Princess Bubblegum, too, has her own complex relationships with the Ice King. Though he is a nuisance to her kingdom, she understands, in part, the pain that drives him. Like Finn and Jake, she sees through the Ice King's cruel exterior, recognizing that his heart is still tethered to a time long past, to a world he can no longer reach. For Bubblegum, the Ice King's tragedy is one of the great, unspoken losses of Oo, a loss that haunts the land in the form of a cold, lonely king who has forgotten how to love. Yet there is a strange kind of redemption in the Ice King's story. Though he is forever changed by the magic of the crown, there are moments, small, fleeting moments, when he is able to remember the man he once was. He is not beyond saving, but the road to redemption is long and fraught with difficulty. In many ways, the Ice King is a reflection of U itself, a land that has been shaped by the scars of the Mushroom War, a world that is still recovering from its past. The Ice King's journey is not one of villainy, but of healing, a quest to remember, to reconnect with the warmth he once knew, and to rediscover the man he lost to time and magic. Through the lens of the Ice King's tragic tale, we see the deeper themes that run through the world of U. It is a land that is full of brokenness and beauty, where the past lingers like a shadow, and the scars of history are never truly gone. Yet it is also a world that is full of hope, a world where even the most fractured and cold of hearts can still find warmth. The Ice King's story reminds us that even in our darkest moments, even when we feel lost and alone, there is always the possibility of redemption, the chance to reclaim the love and joy we once knew. And so, the Ice King's journey continues, one of quiet pain, of longing, and of the slow, steady march toward healing. Though he may never fully reclaim the man he once was, there is a sense of peace that comes with the understanding that even in our brokenness, we are still worthy of love, of connection, and of the warmth that once filled our hearts. In the land of U, where candy grows on trees and castles are made of sweets, Princess Bubblegum reigns over the Candy Kingdom with a delicate yet firm hand. Her world, filled with sugary delights and bubblegum skies, is far from as innocent as it seems. Beneath her pink exterior lies a mind sharp with intelligence and a heart burdened by the weight of leadership, science, and a mysterious past. Princess Bubblegum, or PB as Finn and Jake often call her, is more than just a princess in a kingdom of candy. She is a scientist, a ruler, and a protector. Her intelligence and creativity are as vast as the candy landscape she oversees. She has spent countless hours in her laboratory, conducting experiments that push the boundaries of both magic and science. Her love for knowledge is not just about discovering the unknown, it is about protecting her kingdom and ensuring its future in a world that has known devastation. Her creations, like the candy people who populate her kingdom, are both a testament to her brilliance and a reminder of the complexities of her work. Each candy person is an experiment in and of itself, born of science and magic, but also imbued with the essence of life and consciousness. In many ways, they are the children of her mind, shaped by her desire to create life, to give the people of her kingdom their own sense of agency, even if they are made of sugar and sweetness. Yet, for all her brilliance, Princess Bubblegum is not without her flaws. Her sense of duty and responsibility often leads her to make difficult choices, ones that sacrifice personal happiness for the greater good. She carries the heavy burden of leadership on her shoulders, and the decisions she makes are not always clear-cut. The lines between right and wrong blur as she navigates the complexities of her kingdom's welfare and the delicate balance of power that exists in U. PB's leadership is often tested by the outside world, the encroaching threats from other kingdoms, the ever-present shadow of the Mushroom War's aftermath, and the volatile forces that rise from within her own kingdom. These challenges reveal the vulnerability beneath her composed exterior. For all her power and intelligence, Princess Bubblegum is still a young woman trying to find her way in a world that is constantly changing, constantly testing her resolve. Her moments of doubt, of uncertainty, are rare but significant. They show that even the most capable of rulers are still human, still struggling with their own fears and desires. In her early years, Princess Bubblegum's character was defined by a certain innocence. She was a protector, a leader who sought only to preserve the peace and prosperity of her kingdom. But as the years passed, her understanding of the world deepened, and so did the complexities of her role as a ruler. She began to realize that leadership was not just about maintaining order, it was about making choices that often had no clear answers, choices that weighed heavily on her conscience. She learned that sometimes the greater good required sacrifices that left scars, scars that never truly healed. Her relationship with Finn and Jake reflects this complexity. Finn, with his pure heart and boundless enthusiasm, represents the side of her that longs for simplicity and adventure. Yet, even as she is drawn to Finn's carefree nature, she cannot ignore the responsibilities that weigh her down. Her bond with him is one of mutual respect, though tinged with moments of tension. Finn's earnestness sometimes clashes with her more calculated approach to life, but through their shared adventures, they both learn valuable lessons about themselves and each other. Jake, too, plays a key role in Princess Bubblegum's life. Though he often brings levity to the situations they face, he also provides a grounding influence, reminding her to see the world with a lighter heart. His playful nature contrasts with her seriousness, and in many ways, he helps her navigate the complexities of leadership with a sense of humor and joy. His role as a friend, a protector, and an advisor is invaluable to PB, especially in moments when she struggles with the weight of her decisions. But there is a part of Princess Bubblegum that remains hidden even from her closest companions. A past filled with secrets, a past that is shrouded in the mysteries of the Mushroom War. What led her to become the ruler of the Candy Kingdom? How did she come to be the scientist and creator she is today? These questions are not easily answered, for Princess Bubblegum's history is entwined with the dark legacy of the war that reshaped the land. The creation of the Candy Kingdom itself is a direct result of the war's devastation. Her kingdom, though beautiful and full of life, is born from the ashes of a world lost. In her earliest days, Princess Bubblegum was not always the ruler we know her to be. She was once a young girl, caught in the chaos of the Mushroom War, and her scientific genius was not yet fully realized. Her journey toward leadership and invention was shaped by the horrors she witnessed during the war, the destruction of her home, the loss of her family, and the overwhelming sense of responsibility that came with the power she inherited. One of the most poignant aspects of her character is her deep sense of responsibility toward those she governs. While other rulers might be content to simply maintain power, Princess Bubblegum sees herself as a caretaker of her people, a protector of the future. She strives to create a world where her citizens can live in peace, free from the threat of war and destruction. However, her sense of duty often forces her to make decisions that are less than ideal, and sometimes her actions lead to unintended consequences. Her role as a scientist also complicates matters, as she often finds herself caught between her desire to understand the world and her duty to protect it. Through the ups and downs of her reign, Princess Bubblegum continues to grow and evolve. She learns that leadership is not a position of privilege, but one of service, of giving up pieces of herself for the greater good. Her friendships with Finn and Jake, along with her deep connection to the kingdom she built, are what keep her grounded in the face of adversity. In many ways, she is the embodiment of the land of U itself, a place full of contradictions, of sweetness and darkness, of innocence and experience. Her journey, like the land she rules, is one of continual transformation. She is not the same princess who once dreamed of a peaceful world. She is now a ruler, a scientist, and a protector, someone who understands the complexities of life and leadership, and who carries the burden of her choices with quiet grace. Beneath the bright, candy colored skies of U, in the quiet corners of the land, there exists a figure who carries the weight of centuries, a being who is both ancient and young, fierce yet tender. Marceline, the vampire queen, is one of U's most complex and deeply human characters, despite her immortality. Her story is one of loss, love, and the painful process of coming to terms with the past. Marceline's origins trace back to a time long before the events we know, to a world that was forever altered by the Great Mushroom War. The daughter of Hunson Abadir, the ruler of the Nightosphere, and a human woman, Marceline was born into a world of darkness and magic. Her early years were not filled with innocence, but with the cold, terrifying presence of her father, a being whose power is only matched by his cruelty. From a young age, Marceline was forced to navigate the complexities of her heritage, the delicate balance between the human side of her and the monstrous legacy of her father. But the darkness that defined her father's realm could not contain Marceline. Even as a child, she was strong willed and independent, determined to forge her own path, separate from the oppressive shadows of the Nightosphere. Yet, no matter how far she ran, the memories of her past clung to her like a shadow that she could never escape. The loss of her mother, her strained relationship with her father, and the countless years she spent wandering alone through the remnants of a broken world shaped her into the figure we know today. Marceline's transition into the Vampire Queen was not a simple one. It was not just the result of her father's power, but also the deep, painful need to protect herself in a world that had long since forgotten the meaning of safety. Her vampirism, once a symbol of strength and independence, became a reminder of the emotional scars she carried. She has lived for centuries, watching as the world around her changed, but always remaining in the shadows, detached from the warmth of the life she once knew. The core of Marceline's story is not simply about her vampirism, but about her emotional journey. Her music, the songs she plays on her guitar, is the key to understanding her soul. Music is the language through which she expresses herself, the tool through which she heals, mourns, and connects with others. Through her songs, Marceline shares the stories of her past, the love she once had, and the pain that never fully fades. Each note, each lyric, carries with it a piece of her soul, a soul that has been scarred by centuries of loneliness and loss. Marceline's relationship with her father is one of the most poignant elements of her character. Hunson Abadir, the ruler of the Nightosphere, is a figure of pure evil, yet he is also a father, and this duality shapes the tension between him and Marceline. Though she has spent much of her life trying to distance herself from him, she cannot deny the deep, conflicted love she feels for the man who both raised her and caused her so much pain. Their interactions, while often full of bitterness and anger, are also moments of raw emotion, where Marceline confronts her past and her father's cruelty, yet also seeks the kind of approval and connection that has eluded her for centuries. Marceline's relationship with Finn and Jake is also a key part of her journey. Though Finn and Jake's adventures are often light-hearted and filled with humor, they also provide Marceline with the companionship and understanding she has longed for. Finn, in particular, is a figure who challenges Marceline to confront her own vulnerability, something she has spent years suppressing. Their friendship, which begins as a reluctant alliance, slowly deepens as they share moments of laughter, sadness, and understanding. Through her connection with Finn, Marceline learns that it is okay to trust again, that it is okay to let others in. She finds in him not just a friend, but a reflection of her own humanity, a reminder that even in a world so broken, there is still room for love. But it is her relationship with Princess Bubblegum that truly tests and transforms Marceline. Their complicated history is woven through both shared memories and unresolved tension, a history that reaches back to their childhoods, long before they became the figures of power they are today. Their friendship, which once seemed impossible to reconcile, is a fragile yet beautiful reflection of the way that love, in all its forms, can heal even the deepest wounds. Marceline and Bubblegum's evolving relationship is one of the most emotional arcs in the series, filled with moments of jealousy, forgiveness, and an eventual tender understanding. As the vampire queen, Marceline's struggles are not just with her father or her past, they are with herself. She battles the darkness inside her, the lingering grief, and the loneliness that accompanies immortality. Over time, she learns that her true strength lies not in her power to destroy or her ability to survive, but in her capacity to love. Her journey is one of self acceptance, of learning to forgive herself for the choices she has made, and of understanding that despite her immortal nature, she is capable of growth. Through Marceline's story, we learn that no one is defined by their past, no matter how dark or painful it may be. Marceline's journey is about more than just overcoming her vampire nature. It is about learning to accept all parts of herself, to embrace the complexities of her being, and to realize that she is worthy of love and happiness. In the end, Marceline is a character who shows us that even in the face of endless time, we can still find meaning, still find purpose, and still find our place in the world. And so, in the quiet moments when the stars above Oo shine brightly, Marceline continues to wander through her world, guitar in hand, her heart still echoing the songs of a long forgotten past, but also of a hopeful future. Flame Princess is a figure of both beauty and fury, a character defined by the elements that shape her existence. Born from fire itself, she is a creature of both passion and destruction, a force of nature whose very presence can alter the course of events. Yet despite her fiery nature, Flame Princess's story is one of self-discovery, of learning to control the very force that defines her and finding a place in a world that is not always kind to those who burn too brightly. Her origins, like so many in the land of Oo, are tied to the ancient and mysterious forces that linger beneath the surface. Flame Princess was born in the Fire Kingdom, a place of intense heat and constant flame, where fire is both a blessing and a curse. Her family's history is steeped in the magic of fire. Each ruler of the Fire Kingdom is born with the ability to control and manipulate the flames, an ability that is both revered and feared. For Flame Princess, however, this power is more than just a tool. It is an essential part of who she is, both a gift and a burden. Unlike the Candy Kingdom's creations or the gentle nature of Princess Bubblegum, Flame Princess was born from the raw, untamed force of fire. She is a living embodiment of both beauty and danger, with a heart that burns as brightly as the flames she controls. Yet this fire that makes her so powerful also makes her volatile, unpredictable, and often unable to control her own emotions. This instability is not only a challenge for her, but also for those around her, especially Finn, whose relationship with her becomes a focal point in her journey of self understanding. Flame Princess's relationship with Finn is one of the most intense and emotional arcs in the world of Ooh. When they first meet, there is an undeniable spark between them, an attraction that is both powerful and overwhelming. Finn, ever the adventurer, is drawn to her strength and fiery spirit, and Flame Princess, for the first time, finds someone who does not fear her power. Their connection is immediate, as if their destinies were intertwined by the very flames of her being. But as their relationship develops, it becomes clear that their bond is not without its challenges. For Flame Princess, the struggle lies in the duality of her nature. On one hand, she longs for acceptance, for someone who can see beyond her destructive potential to the person she truly is inside. On the other hand, she fears the destruction she is capable of, that uncontrollable fury that surges within her whenever she experiences intense emotions. Her feelings for Finn, while deep, are complicated by the fear that she might hurt him, just as she has hurt others in the past. The flame that burns within her is a constant reminder of the danger she poses, not just to those around her, but to herself. For Finn, the relationship with Flame Princess is equally challenging. As someone who has spent much of his life seeking adventure and personal growth, he finds himself deeply moved by her vulnerability. Yet Finn also has his own inner conflicts to grapple with. He wants to protect Flame Princess, to help her control the fire that threatens to consume her, but he also realizes that he cannot do it alone. Their love is a journey of both self discovery and mutual growth, as they learn to understand and accept each other's flaws, fears, and desires. But ultimately, it is not just their love for each other that defines their relationship. It is the respect they have for one another's strengths and weaknesses. Flame Princess struggles with her own identity are at the core of her character. She is a powerful force, capable of great destruction, but she is also a young woman who is still learning to navigate the complexities of her emotions and her place in the world. As she grows, she begins to understand that true strength is not just about power, but about control, about the ability to wield one's emotions and passions without letting them overwhelm or destroy. In this journey, she learns that it is possible to be both fierce and compassionate, strong and vulnerable, fiery and calm. Her story is also one of independence. Though she is deeply connected to Finn, Flame Princess is not defined by him nor by anyone else. She learns that her worth does not come from her relationships or her powers, but from her own sense of self. In this way, Her character arc becomes one of empowerment as she learns to embrace who she truly is without fear or shame. Flame Princess is not just the fiery princess of a distant kingdom, she is a force of nature in her own right, someone who is capable of both love and destruction, of healing and harm. Through her journey, Flame Princess becomes a symbol of the power of emotional growth. Her struggles with anger, with control, and with fear mirror the struggles that many of us face in our own lives. In a world that is often chaotic and unpredictable, she represents the need to find balance within oneself, to learn how to navigate the complexities of one's emotions and desires. She teaches us that power does not come from domination or control, but from understanding and embracing all parts of ourselves, both light and dark. As Flame Princess continues her journey, she finds a place where she can exist without the constant fear of losing control. She learns that, like fire itself, her power can be both beautiful and dangerous, and that it is up to her to choose how to wield it. Whether she is with Finn or facing her own challenges, Flame Princess learns that true strength comes from understanding herself, from acknowledging the parts of her that are both tender and fierce. And in doing so, she becomes one of the most powerful figures in Ooh, not because of her fire, but because of the heart that beats beneath the flames. In the vast and ever shifting landscape of Ooh, there exists a force so ancient, so malevolent, that it strikes fear into the hearts of even the bravest heroes. This is the Lich, the embodiment of evil itself, whose very existence is a reminder of the darkness that still lingers in the world, even after the fall of the Mushroom War. The Lich is not merely a villain in the traditional sense, but a creature of pure, destructive will, a being who seeks to undo all that is good and pure in the universe, leaving only chaos and destruction in its wake. The Lich's origins are as mysterious as his motives. He is an ancient entity, born long before the events that shaped the land of Ooh, and his existence is tied to the very fabric of the world. Some believe that the Lich was once a being of great power, a ruler or a force of nature who sought dominion over all things. Others say that he was created by the forces of darkness, summoned into being by the malevolent magic of the Mushroom War, a creature forged from the very energy that tore the world apart. However, the truth of his origins is shrouded in the mists of time, lost to the ages, as so much of the history of Ooh remains. What is known, however, is that the Lich is a being of unimaginable evil, driven by a single, unyielding desire to bring about the end of all life. His very presence corrupts everything it touches, draining the world of its color, its warmth, and its hope. He is a force that feeds on destruction, seeking to consume everything that stands in the way of his ultimate goal, the annihilation of existence itself. The Lich's power is vast and terrifying, far beyond the comprehension of those who dwell in Ooh. He is not limited by the physical constraints of the world, able to transcend time and space, moving through dimensions and bending reality to his will. His true form is one of incomprehensible horror, an unsettling mixture of bone and shadow, with hollow eyes that seem to peer into the very soul of those unfortunate enough to gaze upon him. Yet, despite his grotesque appearance, the Lich is not just a mindless monster. He is a creature of intelligence, cunning, and dark wisdom, able to manipulate others to further his aims and to sow discord wherever he goes. In many ways, The Lich is a reflection of the fear and darkness that exists within the hearts of all living beings. He represents the worst aspects of existence, the cruelty, the destruction, and the inevitability of death. His mere presence is a reminder that no matter how beautiful the world of Oo may seem, there is always a shadow lurking, waiting for the right moment to strike. It is this shadow that Finn and Jake must face in their quest to protect their world. Throughout their adventures, Finn and Jake encounter the Lich time and time again, each confrontation more harrowing than the last. The Lich seems to have an endless capacity for evil, constantly returning from whatever dark realm he has been banished to, as if he is a force that cannot be truly destroyed. Each time he is defeated, it is only a temporary reprieve, a fleeting victory before he resurfaces again, bringing with him a new wave of destruction. It is this relentless, unyielding nature that makes the Lich such a terrifying adversary. For all their bravery and strength, Finn and Jake are confronted with the realization that they cannot defeat the Lich through sheer force alone. His power is not something that can be overcome with weapons or physical might. It is a battle of wills, a struggle against the very essence of evil itself. Yet despite the overwhelming darkness that the Lich brings, there is a strange kind of balance in his presence. The Lich's existence is not only a force of destruction, but also a reminder of the resilience of life, of the strength that comes from facing the greatest of fears and standing up against the impossible. His darkness, though pervasive and all-consuming, cannot extinguish the light of hope, of friendship, and of love. It is through this resilience that Finn and his companions continue to fight, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The Lich's influence spreads across the land of Oo, leaving behind a trail of devastation and despair wherever he goes. But it is not just the land that he threatens. It is the very heart of Oo itself, the beating pulse that keeps the world alive. The characters of O, from Princess Bubblegum to Marceline, are all touched by the Lich's malevolent force in some way, each facing their own battles against the darkness he brings. Whether it is the struggle to protect their kingdoms, to safeguard their friends, or to confront their own inner demons, the Lich forces them all to confront the things they fear the most. In his quest to destroy all life, the Lich becomes a mirror for the characters who oppose him. They are forced to look within themselves and ask what they are willing to sacrifice to protect the world they love. The Lich challenges them to rise above their fears, to find strength in their unity and in their resolve. It is not enough to simply fight against the darkness. One must learn to shine in its presence, to hold fast to the things that make life worth living, even when everything seems to be falling apart. For Finn, the Lich represents a personal trial, one that forces him to confront his own understanding of heroism and morality. Throughout their encounters, Finn learns that being a hero is not just about defeating monsters or saving the day. It is about knowing when to act, when to stand firm, and when to let go. In his struggle against the Lich, Finn learns the true cost of heroism and the sacrifices that must be made in order to protect those we love. The Lich, in his relentless pursuit of destruction, reminds us all of the delicate balance between creation and destruction, light and dark, life and death. His presence serves as a stark reminder that evil is not always easily defined, and that the battle between good and evil is not always clear cut. In a world filled with magic and wonder, the Lich is the embodiment of chaos, the ever present shadow that threatens to unravel the very fabric of existence. And yet, in the face of this darkness, there is always the possibility for hope, for redemption, and for the triumph of the human spirit. In the far reaches of the land of U, where the air is thick with the scent of sugar and the skies are tinted with the soft glow of pink and pastel hues, lies the Candy Kingdom, a kingdom that, from the outside, seems to be the epitome of sweetness and light, a place where candy trees sway gently in the breeze, and every corner holds the promise of a sugary delight. Yet beneath the frosting covered exterior, the Candy Kingdom is a land that is both wondrous and fragile, where the sweetness of life often masks the underlying complexities and challenges faced by its ruler, Princess Bubblegum. The history of the Candy Kingdom is as rich and layered as the candy it produces. It is a kingdom built from the remnants of the Mushroom War, a land that rose from the ashes of destruction to become a place of peace and prosperity, at least on the surface. Princess Bubblegum, a creation of both science and magic, is the very embodiment of this duality, sweet and scientific, playful and calculating. She is both the heart and mind of the kingdom, constantly striving to maintain order and harmony, even as the world around her shifts and changes. The Candy Kingdom, in many ways, reflects the character of Princess Bubblegum herself. On the outside, it is a place of joy and whimsy, where candy creatures roam the streets, and every building is made of the finest sugar and frosting. The inhabitants of the kingdom, from the candy people to the many other sweet beings that live within its walls, live in a world of comfort and delight, each day bringing new opportunities for fun and enjoyment. Yet, as in any kingdom, there are always challenges lurking beneath the surface, challenges that threaten the peace and harmony that Bubblegum works so tirelessly to maintain. At the heart of the kingdom lies Princess Bubblegum's laboratory, a place where she conducts her most important work. It is here, in the quiet sanctum of her scientific mind, that the true complexities of her kingdom come to light. The Candy Kingdom is not just a whimsical land of sweets, it is a place built on the very principles of science and experimentation. Princess Bubblegum's creations, the Candy People, are living, breathing beings, each one crafted with care and precision. They are the fruits of her scientific genius, the result of countless hours spent in the pursuit of knowledge and understanding. Yet, for all the joy and comfort the Candy Kingdom brings to its inhabitants, there are darker undercurrents that threaten to disrupt the balance. The kingdom is constantly at odds with the forces of nature and the world beyond its borders. From the wild and uncontrollable flames of Flame Princess's kingdom to the dark and dangerous machinations of the Ice King, the Candy Kingdom's peace is always tenuous. Princess Bubblegum's leadership is tested time and time again, as she must navigate the delicate balance between science and magic, between preservation and progress. The Candy Kingdom is also a land where love and loyalty are tested, especially when it comes to the relationships that define Princess Bubblegum's life. Her bond with Finn and Jake is one of mutual respect, but also of tension, as their youthful optimism sometimes clashes with her more pragmatic, scientific approach to life. Finn, in particular, finds himself torn between his love for the kingdom and his loyalty to the values that Bubblegum represents. As their adventures continue, Finn comes to understand that the kingdom and the princess who rules it are not as perfect as they first appeared. There is a fragility to the Candy Kingdom, a vulnerability that cannot be ignored. One of the most poignant aspects of the Candy Kingdom's lore is its connection to the larger world of Oo. While the kingdom itself is a place of light and joy, it is surrounded by a world that is constantly in flux. The forces of nature, the wild magic of Oo, and the remnants of the Mushroom War all play a part in shaping the kingdom's fate. As much as Princess Bubblegum strives to protect her people and maintain the kingdom's delicate balance, she is constantly reminded that the world around her is unpredictable and full of threats. The Candy Kingdom's existence is a fragile one, one that requires constant vigilance and adaptability. Despite the challenges, there is a deep beauty to the Candy Kingdom. It is a land where dreams come true, where the sweet and the magical intermingle, and where even the most difficult of circumstances can be met with a sense of hope and determination. It is a place where the impossible becomes possible, where the boundaries of reality are constantly being pushed and reshaped. In many ways, the Candy Kingdom is a reflection of Princess Bubblegum herself, a kingdom that is both complex and simple, fragile and strong, a place of both science and magic. In the midst of her trials, Princess Bubblegum continues to work tirelessly for the good of her people. She is a ruler who understands the weight of her responsibilities, who knows that every decision she makes has far reaching consequences. Her leadership is not without its flaws, but it is also marked by a deep commitment to the welfare of her kingdom and the people she governs. Her love for her citizens is evident in the way she protects them, in the way she strives to create a better world for them, even when faced with insurmountable odds. The Candy Kingdom, though filled with whimsy and wonder, is also a land of reflection. It is a place where the sweetness of life is often contrasted with the bitter realities of leadership, where the pursuit of perfection is balanced by the need for growth and change. Through its stories, the kingdom teaches us that even the most beautiful of places are not without their struggles. The Candy Kingdom is a kingdom of hope and resilience, a place where love, loyalty, and the pursuit of happiness always shine through, even in the darkest of times. As Princess Bubblegum continues to lead her kingdom, she is reminded that her work is never done, that the balance between science and magic, between light and dark, is a delicate one. And as the candy people dance in the streets and the sugar trees sway in the breeze, the Candy Kingdom remains a beacon of sweetness and strength, a reminder that even in a world filled with chaos, there is always room for a little bit of sweetness. The land of Oo is one of beauty and magic, a place where adventure flows like a river, where kingdoms rise and fall, and where heroes and villains alike shape the fate of the world. Yet, as vibrant as the world of Oo is today, its history is marked by an event of unimaginable devastation, the Great Mushroom War. This war, which took place long before the time of Finn and Jake, left scars on the land that can still be seen today. The Great Mushroom War is a dark chapter in the history of Oo, a time when the forces of science and magic collided with catastrophic results, shaping the world into the strange and fractured place it is now. The Mushroom War, as it is called, was not a battle between kingdoms or armies in the traditional sense. It was a war of destruction, an apocalyptic conflict that ravaged the world and reshaped the very fabric of reality. The war was fought with unimaginable power, with weapons and magic that could warp the laws of nature and bend the very world to their will. The exact origins of the war remain shrouded in mystery, with only fragmented stories and rumors to piece together the details. What is known is that it began with a conflict between the forces of technology and magic, an ideological struggle that quickly escalated into a global catastrophe. The war was marked by the widespread use of powerful, dangerous technologies, machines of destruction that could obliterate entire cities in the blink of an eye. These weapons, born from the minds of the greatest scientists and inventors of the time, were capable of harnessing the most destructive forces of nature. Yet alongside these inventions, there were also magical forces at play, powerful sorcery that could bend time and space, alter reality, and bring about unimaginable change. The clash between these two forms of power, the mechanical and the magical, created a volatile environment, one where the world was torn apart by forces beyond anyone's control. As the war raged on, entire civilizations were wiped out, their cities reduced to rubble, their people lost to the chaos. The land itself was scarred, with entire landscapes altered beyond recognition. The once thriving cities and civilizations of the old world were erased, leaving only ruins and memories behind. The Mushroom War was a conflict that destroyed everything it touched, leaving a fractured and broken world in its wake. In the aftermath of the war, the survivors were left to pick up the pieces of their shattered world. The magic that once filled the land had been tainted by the destruction of the war, leaving Ooh in a state of constant flux. The power of the Mushroom War's weapons lingered in the air, distorting the world and creating strange, unpredictable effects. Some places were forever changed by the war. Forests turned to wastelands, mountains crumbled to dust, and entire regions became inhospitable. Even the creatures of Ooh were affected by the war, with many mutated or altered by the lingering radiation and magic that permeated the world. In the wake of the war, the survivors of Ooh found themselves rebuilding from the ashes. The kingdoms that would eventually rise, like the Candy Kingdom, the Ice Kingdom, and the Fire Kingdom, were born out of the need for shelter and survival. But while these new kingdoms brought with them a sense of stability and peace, the memory of the war remained ever present. The people of Ooh, while rebuilding, were always haunted by the destruction that had come before. The Mushroom War had not only torn the world apart physically, it had also left deep emotional scars on the survivors. The legacy of the war is one of loss, of memories of a world that no longer exists. One of the most tragic consequences of the Mushroom War was the loss of human civilization. Finn, the last known human in Ooh, is the sole surviving remnant of a once thriving human race. The war eradicated the human population, leaving only a handful of survivors scattered across the world. Finn's quest to understand his own origins is tied directly to the aftermath of the war. He is a living testament to the human race that was lost, and his search for answers is one that echoes the pain and longing of a world that has forgotten much of its past. The war also left behind powerful relics and artifacts, remnants of a time before the destruction, when the world was full of possibilities. These relics are scattered throughout Ooh, hidden in forgotten ruins and lost places, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to seek them out. The Enchiridion, a book of great power, is one such artifact, a relic from the pre war world that holds secrets of both science and magic. Many of the kingdoms of U are built upon the ruins of old civilizations, and the stories of those lost people are woven into the fabric of the land itself. But the Great Mushroom War is not just a tale of destruction, it is also a story of rebirth. Though the war shattered the world, it also gave rise to new possibilities, new kingdoms, and new heroes. The survivors of the war, like Princess Bubblegum, Marceline, and the other inhabitants of U, are living examples of the resilience of life. The war may have torn the world apart, but it did not destroy the spirit of those who remained. In the years that followed, U became a place of healing, a land where life began to grow again, albeit in a different form. Yet the shadow of the Mushroom War lingers in the hearts of the characters who inhabit U. Finn's quest to understand the past, Princess Bubblegum's constant struggle to maintain peace, and the pain that haunts Marceline are all reminders of the war's lingering effects. The characters of O carry the weight of the past with them, as do the remnants of the war that still dot the landscape. The ruins of the old world are not just physical structures, they are reminders of the fragility of civilization, of the destructive power of unchecked ambition, and of the need to protect what is good and pure in the world. The Great Mushroom War is a story of destruction, yes, but it is also a story of hope, of resilience, and of the possibility of renewal. Though the land of U was forever changed by the war, it is still a place where magic and wonder exist, where life finds a way to grow even in the most barren of places. The war may have fractured the world, but it did not break it. The story of U is one of recovery, of rebuilding, and of the enduring power of life to rise from the ashes. In the vast, starry skies above the land of U, there exists a mysterious figure who watches over the world from the ethereal planes of existence. This being, known as the Cosmic Owl, is a creature both wise and enigmatic, an entity whose role in the fabric of the universe is as profound as it is inscrutable. The Cosmic Owl is not a being bound by time or space, but rather a force that transcends the boundaries of the physical world, a figure whose presence is felt in the quiet moments of reflection, in the deep, unspoken mysteries that linger just beyond the reach of understanding. The Cosmic Owl first appears to Finn and Jake during moments of deep contemplation when the questions of life and existence become too great to ignore. Its presence is a sign that something important is about to unfold, a harbinger of destiny and fate. With its glowing eyes and ethereal wings, the Cosmic Owl embodies the vastness of the cosmos, a reminder that there is always something larger at play, something beyond the mundane struggles and joys of the world below. The role of the Cosmic Owl is tied to the deeper mysteries of U and the prophecy that hovers over the land like a distant, unfulfilled promise. The owl is more than just a watcher. It is a guide, a creature whose knowledge of the future and the past transcends the limitations of mortal understanding. It speaks in riddles, its words cryptic and elusive, leaving those who encounter it with more questions than answers. Yet in its cryptic wisdom, the Cosmic Owl reveals a deeper truth, that the events of U, though seemingly random and chaotic, are part of a larger cosmic plan, one that is being quietly orchestrated by the forces of fate. The owl's connection to the prophecy is one of the central threads in the story of U. It is said that the cosmic owl has the ability to see glimpses of the future, to witness the turning of the great cosmic wheel, and to understand the ebb and flow of time in ways that no one else can. In this way, the owl is both a symbol of knowledge and mystery, an ancient creature who holds the secrets of the universe, yet is bound by its own limitations, unable to fully reveal the grand design it knows is unfolding. The prophecy itself is a shadow that hangs over the land, a prediction of great change, of events that will shape the future of U and its inhabitants. The details of the prophecy are vague, but its presence is undeniable. It speaks of heroes and villains, of choices that will change the course of history, and of the consequences that will come from the actions of those who live in U. Though the prophecy is never fully revealed, it is clear that the actions of Finn, Jake, and their companions are intricately tied to the unfolding of this greater narrative, a story that is far larger than any one individual. The cosmic owl, as the keeper of the prophecy, is both a guide and a symbol. It watches as Finn and Jake navigate the challenges of their world, as they face off against powerful forces and unravel the mysteries of U. In the quiet moments of their adventures, when the dust settles and the world grows still, the owl's presence is felt like a distant whisper from the stars. It is in these moments that the truth of the prophecy begins to take shape, slowly revealing the role that Finn and his companions will play in the grand tapestry of the universe. As the story of U unfolds, the cosmic owl's guidance becomes more important. The owl appears at key moments in the lives of Finn, Jake, and the other inhabitants of U, offering subtle hints and cryptic advice that helps them navigate the path ahead. It is as though the owl is a silent observer, ensuring that the threads of fate remain intertwined, that the prophecy is fulfilled in ways both known and unknown. Though it never fully reveals its intentions, the cosmic owl's presence is a constant reminder that there is always more to the world than meets the eye, that the mysteries of the universe are always just beyond the horizon, waiting to be uncovered. One of the most significant appearances of the cosmic owl comes in the form of its connection to Finn's journey of self-discovery. As Finn grapples with the complexities of his role in U, the owl offers guidance that transcends the ordinary. It appears to him during moments of doubt, when Finn is uncertain of his place in the world and his ability to fulfill the destiny that seems to await him. The owl's cryptic words provide comfort, reminding Finn that the answers he seeks are not always found in the immediate moment, but in the quiet patience of the cosmos. The cosmic owl teaches Finn that the path to understanding is not always direct, that the greatest revelations often come in small, fleeting moments. The relationship between Finn and the cosmic owl also represents the balance between destiny and free will. While the owl may see glimpses of the future, it does not dictate the actions of those it watches over. Instead, it offers gentle guidance, leaving the choices of the characters up to them. This delicate balance between fate and free will is a central theme in the world of U, where the characters are constantly confronted with the tension between the paths they must take and the choices they make. The cosmic owl, in this sense, serves as a reminder that though fate may have a hand in shaping the world, it is the actions of individuals that ultimately determine the course of history. The presence of the cosmic owl also emphasizes the mysterious and magical nature of Oo itself. The world of Oo is a place where anything can happen, where magic and reality blur, and where the impossible becomes possible. The owl, as a creature who transcends the boundaries of time and space, embodies this sense of wonder and mystery. It represents the infinite possibilities that exist in the world, and the idea that the answers to the greatest questions of existence are always just beyond reach, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. In the grand scheme of things, the cosmic owl is more than just a guide or a harbinger of fate. It is a symbol of the infinite complexity of the universe, a reminder that there is always more to discover, always more to learn, and always more to understand. Its cryptic nature encourages the characters and the audience to seek answers beyond the surface, to look deeper into the mysteries that surround them, and to understand that even the smallest of actions can have far reaching consequences. As the prophecy continues to unfold, and as the characters of Oo confront the challenges that lie ahead, the cosmic owl will remain a silent witness, watching from the stars, its glowing eyes ever vigilant as the threads of fate weave their way through the land of Oo. In the land of Oo, where magic runs wild and adventures await at every turn, there exists an artifact so powerful, so mysterious, that it is the subject of legend and lore. This artifact is none other than the Enchiridion, a magical book of immense power, said to hold the key to ultimate knowledge and unimaginable abilities. The Enchiridion is not just a book, it is a symbol of heroism, of courage, and of the boundless potential that lies within those who seek to unlock its secrets. The origins of the Enchiridion are as mysterious as the book itself. It is said to have been created by ancient, wise beings, perhaps even long before the Mushroom War, during a time when magic and science were still in harmony and the world was a place of balance. The book is bound in leather, its pages filled with ancient texts and cryptic symbols written in a language that only the most skilled scholars can decipher. Its knowledge spans across countless realms and dimensions, touching on topics of magic, heroism, and the very nature of existence. But while the book is a source of great power, it is also a dangerous relic, one that requires wisdom, patience, and purity of heart to wield. The Enchiridion first comes into Finn's life when he embarks on a journey to prove himself as a true hero. His quest to find the book is sparked by his desire to become a worthy protector of Oo, someone who can stand against the forces of evil and uphold the values of justice and goodness. Finn's desire to be a hero is a central theme in his life. He is driven by an unshakable belief in the importance of doing what is right, no matter the cost. The Enchiridion becomes his ultimate test, a symbol of the challenges he must face in order to grow and become the hero he dreams of being. The journey to obtain the Enchiridion is not an easy one. Finn must pass a series of trials, each more difficult and dangerous than the last. The trials are designed not just to test his physical strength, but to challenge his heart and mind. The book is not simply a tool for heroism, it is a reflection of the qualities that make someone truly heroic: courage, wisdom, compassion, and the ability to make the right choices in the face of adversity. It is a test of character, one that Finn must pass in order to prove that he is worthy of the knowledge contained within the book. Along the way, Finn encounters various challenges, both external and internal. He faces monsters, puzzles, and magical barriers, each designed to push him to his limits. But perhaps the greatest challenge he faces is the struggle within himself, the constant doubt that he is not worthy of the Enchiridion, that he is not truly a hero. His journey is one of self discovery, of learning to trust in his own abilities and to believe in his own worth. The book, while a powerful artifact, is not the source of Finn's heroism. It is his heart, his courage, and his unwavering sense of justice that make him a true hero. In the end, Finn succeeds in his quest and obtains the Enchiridion, but he learns that the true power of the book lies not in the magic it contains, but in the lessons it imparts. The book teaches Finn that heroism is not about wielding great power or defeating evil forces. It is about the choices we make, the values we hold dear, and the way we treat others. It is about standing up for what is right, even when the odds seem insurmountable. The Enchiridion serves as a reminder that the greatest power lies not in the artifacts we seek, but in the strength of character that we cultivate within ourselves. Though Finn is now the owner of the Enchiridion, the book does not come without its burdens. Its knowledge is vast, and its power is not to be taken lightly. The book can be a guide, but it can also be a temptation. It holds the power to shape the future, to alter the course of events, and to influence the hearts and minds of those who seek to unlock its secrets. In the wrong hands, the Enchiridion could be a force of great destruction, but in Finn's hands, it becomes a tool for growth, a reminder of the responsibility that comes with being a hero. The Enchiridion's significance is not limited to Finn alone. It also plays a crucial role in the larger story of Oo. The book is a key that connects the various characters and events of the land, a symbol of the larger journey that everyone is on. Princess Bubblegum, Marceline, Jake, and all of the other inhabitants of Oo are tied to the book in ways both direct and indirect. The lessons contained within the Enchiridion are universal, teaching all those who encounter it about the importance of making wise choices and of understanding the consequences of their actions. It is a tool of self-reflection, one that challenges the reader to look inward and examine their own motivations, fears, and desires. The Enchiridion also serves as a bridge between the realms of science and magic. Princess Bubblegum, with her scientific brilliance, views the book as both a valuable artifact and a scientific mystery. She sees its potential not only as a source of knowledge, but also as a way to unlock the hidden secrets of the world. Marceline, with her own deep understanding of magic and the supernatural, recognizes the Enchiridion as a powerful tool for understanding the forces that shape Oo. The book is a symbol of the balance between these two forces, science and magic, and the way they intersect and interact in the world of Oo. But despite its power, the Enchiridion is not the end of Finn's journey. It is merely one chapter in the ongoing saga of Oo, one more piece of the puzzle that he and his friends must continue to piece together. The book does not provide all the answers. Instead, it encourages the reader to keep seeking, to keep questioning, and to keep growing. It is a symbol of the ever-evolving nature of Oo, a world that is constantly changing, constantly shifting, and where no one, no hero or villain, ever truly knows what comes next. Deep within the land of Oo, hidden beneath the twisted trees and fog-filled skies, lies a place known only to a few. This mysterious land is called the Forest of the Lost, a shadowy and forgotten realm where time seems to slow and the boundaries between reality and myth blur. The forest is an ancient place, its origins lost to the mists of time, its secrets guarded by the spirits of the past. In this forest, the trees are not just trees, but ancient sentinels, silent witnesses to the world's greatest stories and forgotten histories. It is a place where magic lingers in the air, where the past and present intertwine, and where the creatures that dwell within carry the weight of ancient knowledge. The Forest of the Lost is a place both enchanting and eerie, a land that seems to hold memories of everything that has ever been. The trees here are twisted and gnarled, their branches reaching out like ancient hands, beckoning those who wander too close. The forest is filled with strange sounds, the rustling of leaves, the creaking of branches, the faint whisper of wind through the air, all of which seem to carry whispers from the past, stories of old heroes and long forgotten creatures. It is a place of silence, yet in its silence, it is loud with the weight of its own history. The deeper one travels into the forest of the lost, the more the air seems to hum with ancient power. The magic of the forest is palpable, a presence that can be felt in the very ground beneath one's feet. It is said that the forest holds the secrets of the Mushroom War, of the events that shaped the world and created the magic that flows through today. The forest is not just a natural place, it is a repository of the world's memories, a place where the essence of itself is stored. The stories of the past are held here, like relics in a forgotten temple, waiting to be discovered by those who are brave enough to seek them out. It is in the heart of the forest that the most ancient of myths and legends are said to be hidden. These are the stories of Oo's earliest inhabitants, of creatures and beings that once roamed the land before the kingdoms rose, before the world as we know it took shape. Some of these stories are fragmented, pieces of a larger puzzle that can never be fully reconstructed. Others are more complete, tales of heroes and villains, of great battles and the sacrifices that shaped the land. These myths are often told in hushed whispers, passed down through generations, and never fully understood by those who hear them. Among the many myths of the Forest of the Lost is the legend of the First Kingdom, a civilization that predated the kingdoms of the Candy Kingdom, the Fire Kingdom, and all the others. The First Kingdom was said to be a place of great power, a land where magic flowed freely and where the people lived in harmony with the forces of nature. But like all great civilizations, the First Kingdom eventually fell, consumed by the very magic it had embraced. The details of its fall are unclear, lost to time, and obscured by the passing years. Some say that the kingdom was destroyed by its own magic, that the unchecked power of the spellcasters within the kingdom led to their undoing. Others believe that the kingdom was wiped out by an invasion, a dark force from beyond the realm of that sought to conquer and enslave the magical beings within. Whatever the truth may be, the legacy of the First Kingdom lives on in the ruins that remain scattered throughout the forest. These ruins are ancient, weathered by time and the forces of nature, but still powerful in their own way. The structures are made of stone and enchanted wood, remnants of a time when magic was as natural as breathing. The air in these ruins is thick with the magic of the past, and it is said that those who venture too deep into the heart of the forest may feel the pull of the ancient energy that still resides there. Some claim to hear voices in the ruins, whispers of the long dead inhabitants, speaking in a language that no longer exists. The creatures that live within the forest of the lost are as mysterious as the forest itself. Many of them are said to be the descendants of the ancient beings who once inhabited the first kingdom. These creatures are not of the ordinary world. They are magical beings, each possessing abilities and traits that make them unique and often unpredictable. Some are friendly, offering guidance to those who seek the truth, while others are more enigmatic, moving in the shadows, watching from the edges of the forest. There are whispers of strange, otherworldly beings who dwell in the deepest parts of the forest, creatures that have never been seen by the eyes of mortals, and whose existence is only known through the faintest of rumors. One such being is the spirit of the forest, a mysterious entity that is said to be the guardian of the forest's secrets. The spirit of the forest is not a single being, but a collection of energies and forces that have taken on a physical form. It is a creature of great power, capable of manipulating the magic that flows through the land. Some believe that the spirit is the embodiment of the forest itself, a living manifestation of the land's ancient and untamed magic. Others think that it is a guardian tasked with protecting the secrets of the first kingdom, ensuring that they are never fully revealed. The spirit is a figure of legend, appearing only to those who are worthy of its presence, those who seek the truth with pure hearts and minds. The Forest of the Lost is also a place where time itself seems to warp. Hours can feel like minutes, and days can stretch into years. Some who enter the forest return only to find that much more time has passed than they realized. It is as though the forest exists outside of normal time, a place where the past, present, and future merge it into a single, timeless moment. This strange quality of the forest is both a blessing and a curse. Those who enter seeking answers may find themselves lost in the currents of time, trapped in a cycle of endless searching. But for those who are patient, for those who wait and listen, the forest may reveal its secrets, one piece at a time. The legends of the Forest of the Lost are countless, each one a thread in the rich tapestry of Oo's history. It is a place that calls to adventurers, to those who seek the mysteries of the past, and to those who wish to uncover the hidden truths that have shaped the world. The forest, with its ancient trees, its forgotten ruins, and its magic-filled air, is a reminder that the world of Oo is far older and more mysterious than it first appears. It is a land full of untold stories, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to seek them. The world of Oo, with its vibrant kingdoms and magical creatures, is not without its darker elements. Beneath the surface of this whimsical land, where heroes and adventurers roam, there lurks a variety of villains whose motives and actions challenge the peace and harmony of the realm. These villains are not always as they seem. Some are driven by deep personal pain, while others are simply products of the chaos that shaped Oo. In their darkness, they serve as a reminder that even in the most fantastical of worlds, evil has a way of making its presence felt. Yet, as with all villains, there is more to their stories than meets the eye. In the land of Oo, every villain has their own complexities, their own struggles, and their own reasons for doing what they do. One of the most iconic villains in the land of Oo is the Ice King, a tragic figure whose story is steeped in both loss and madness. Once a man named Simon Petrikov, the Ice King's descent into villainy began with the acquisition of a magical crown, a crown that granted him great power, but also slowly eroded his sanity. As he lost his memories, his sense of self, and his humanity, he was transformed into the lonely and often comical figure we know today. His obsession with capturing princesses is not rooted in malice, but rather in a desperate desire for companionship, driven by the isolation he feels in his icy domain. The Ice King is a complex villain, one who embodies the tragedy of losing oneself to the ravages of time and the consequences of unchecked magical power. Beneath his cruel exterior is a man who longs for love and connection, a man who cannot remember the warmth he once knew, but who still holds on to the fragments of that lost past. The Lich, another of Oo's most formidable villains, is a being of pure evil, an entity so ancient and destructive that it embodies the very concept of death itself. Unlike the Ice King, the Lich is driven solely by a desire to bring about the end of all life, to extinguish the light of the world and replace it with an eternal darkness. His power is vast and terrifying, capable of warping reality itself, and he has no interest in companionship or understanding. The Lich is a villain in the truest sense, a force of destruction, a being whose very existence threatens the balance of the world. His motivations are simple: to end all life and return the world to the void from which it came. Yet, despite the overwhelming evil he represents, the Lich is not without his own vulnerability. His existence is one of eternal loneliness, a creature who is driven by an insatiable need to annihilate, but who is also a prisoner of his own destructive nature. He is a force of chaos and death, yet his very existence speaks to the inescapable nature of evil, a darkness that cannot be easily escaped or understood. Then there is Princess Bubblegum's own creation, the Candy Kingdom's royal guard, and many other characters who challenge the peace of the land. Each villain in Ooh represents a different aspect of the world's struggles, from the personal to the philosophical, from the magical to the mundane. Each villain brings with them their own backstory, their own pains, and their own desires. For some, the pursuit of power is the driving force behind their actions, while for others, it is the yearning for love, acceptance, or redemption. Villains in O are rarely one-dimensional. Instead, they are complicated characters who reflect the complexities of the world they inhabit. A less sinister but still significant villain in Oo is Flame Princess. Her power, born from the very fire of the earth, is both a gift and a curse. As the ruler of the Fire Kingdom, Flame Princess is constantly struggling with the intensity of her abilities, which threaten to consume both herself and those around her. While she is not evil in the traditional sense, her internal conflict, her fear of her own power, leads to moments of aggression and destruction, especially when her emotions get the better of her. Her story is one of self-discovery and self-control as she learns to embrace her power without letting it define her. Flame Princess is a reflection of the struggle between inner strength and personal conflict, and her journey is one of learning to live with the fire inside her without letting it burn out of control. The Nightosphere, ruled by Marceline's father, Hunson Abadir, is another place of darkness in Oo. The Nightosphere is a realm filled with evil spirits, demons, and other unspeakable horrors. Hunson Abadir is a being of immense power, But his rule over the nightosphere is not one of benevolence. He is a tyrant, cruel and manipulative, and his relationship with Marceline is one of constant tension. Despite his evil ways, Hunson is not a simple villain. His relationship with his daughter reveals his vulnerabilities, his desires, and his own fears. He is a character caught between his role as a ruler and his love for his daughter, a love that is twisted by his own dark nature. The tension between Marceline and her father is one of the most emotionally complex relationships in Ooh, as it speaks to the difficulties of family, forgiveness, and the struggle between light and dark. But not all of Ooh's villains are magical beings. The land is also home to characters who are simply driven by greed, power, or jealousy. These villains may not wield magical powers, but their actions still cause great harm. For example, characters like the Duke of Nuts, or even the Candy Kingdom's more minor antagonists, challenge the stability of Ooh with their personal ambitions. These villains serve as a reminder that even in a world of magic and fantasy, the struggles of the human heart, jealousy, greed, and pride are still very much present. It is these emotions, more than any magical power, that can often cause the greatest harm. In Ooh, the line between hero and villain is often blurred, and the journey to understanding and redemption is rarely a straight path. Characters like the Ice King, Flame Princess, and even Marceline's father show that the greatest villains are often those who are struggling with their own inner demons. Ooh's villains are reflections of the world they inhabit, worlds where magic and science are intertwined, where the battle between good and evil is not always as clear cut as it may seem. It is the imperfections of these characters, their struggles with identity, love, and loss, that make them both relatable and tragic. They are villains, yes, but they are also deeply human in their own way. In the land of Ooh, where strange creatures roam and magic fills the air, there is one being who remains a constant enigma, a mystery whose presence weaves in and out of the adventures of Finn and Jake. This creature, simple in appearance, yet profound in its enigmatic qualities, is the snail. At first glance, the snail may seem like just another inconspicuous creature in Ooh, a small, harmless inhabitant of the land. Yet the snail is far more than it appears. It is a symbol of the mysteries that run beneath the surface of Ooh, a creature whose true nature is as elusive as the secrets of the world itself. The snail first appears in the background of many episodes, often hiding in plain sight, barely noticed as Finn and Jake embark on their adventures. It is a creature that is not central to the plot, yet its constant presence hints at something much larger at play. The snail is not just a passive observer of Ooh's happenings. It is a mysterious figure whose role in the world is tied to the greater tapestry of magic and history that shapes the land. Its subtle presence serves as a reminder that, in the land of Ooh, there is always more than meets the eye, and that even the smallest of creatures may have a story to tell. As Finn and Jake journey through Ooh, the snail appears time and time again, always in the background, always just out of focus. Sometimes it can be seen perched on a windowsill, other times sliding along the edge of a tree, or resting quietly in the corners of Ooh's various kingdoms. Its appearances are brief but deliberate, each one an unspoken clue to the larger narrative that is unfolding around Finn and his friends. The snail is, in many ways, the ultimate symbol of Ooh's mystery, a creature that exists in the margins of the story, never fully explained but always present, a reminder that not all questions have answers. The most intriguing aspect of the snail is its constant role as a hidden symbol. Over time, fans of Adventure Time began to notice that the snail was more than just a recurring background element. It became a symbol of something greater, a link to a hidden world of mysteries and secrets. It became a sort of Easter egg, a visual riddle woven into the fabric of each episode. As the series progressed, the snail's appearances grew more deliberate, appearing in places where it was least expected, often in the most mundane of settings, as if quietly observing the everyday happenings of the world. While the snail's purpose in the story is never fully revealed, it holds a significant role in the context of Oo's greater mysteries. The creature's inexplicable presence and its connection to the magical world are key elements in understanding the broader themes of Adventure Time. Oo is a land filled with hidden meanings and unexplained wonders, a place where the line between magic and reality is often blurred. The snail, as a silent witness to this world, reflects the idea that there are many things in Oo that cannot be easily understood or explained, and that sometimes the most important elements of the story are those that exist just beyond our perception. Throughout the series, the snail is often seen in conjunction with the more whimsical elements of Oo, but there are also moments where its presence hints at something darker, something more mysterious. In certain episodes, the snail is seen in places where it might not belong, lurking in the shadows, quietly observing the events that unfold. These subtle moments suggest that the snail may have a deeper connection to the darker, more hidden aspects of Oo's magic, perhaps serving as a messenger or a harbinger of something yet to come. The snail's most significant role, however, is as a symbol of the secrets that are hidden within the world of Oo. Just as the snail slides quietly through the land, leaving no trace of its path, there are many aspects of Oo's history and magic that remain unexplored. The snail represents the quiet presence of things that go unnoticed, things that are right in front of us, but often overlooked. It serves as a reminder that there are mysteries yet to be uncovered, stories yet to be told, and truths that are hidden beneath the surface of Oo's vibrant and colorful exterior. In a way, the snail is the ultimate observer of Oo, a creature that is always present, yet never fully understood. Its role in the world is both subtle and profound, its presence a constant reminder that there is always more to learn about the land of Oo, and that not every answer will come easily. Just as Finn and Jake's adventures are filled with surprises, the snail's quiet appearances reflect the idea that Oo itself is full of surprises, many of which may remain just out of reach. The snail also serves as a mirror to Finn's own journey. Much like the snail, Finn begins his adventure with only a vague understanding of the world around him. He is curious and eager to explore, but he is also searching for meaning, for purpose, and for answers to the larger questions that linger in his mind. The snail, always present but never fully understood, mirrors Finn's own journey of self-discovery, his quest to understand who he is, where he comes from, and what role he plays in the larger story of Oo. The snail's presence is a reminder that even in a world as fantastical as Oo, there are things that are beyond comprehension, things that defy explanation. It teaches Finn, and by extension the audience, that not all mysteries can be solved, that some things are meant to remain hidden, and that the search for answers is just as important as the answers themselves. The snail, in its quiet, unassuming way, becomes a symbol of the importance of mystery, of the unknown, and of the beauty in embracing the questions that life presents. In the end, the snail remains one of Oo's greatest mysteries, a creature whose role in the world may never be fully understood, but whose presence serves as a constant reminder that in Oo there is always something more to discover. It is a symbol of the magic that runs through the land, a reminder that even the smallest of creatures can hold the greatest secrets. In the dark and twisted corners of Oo, there exists a figure whose power is as ancient as it is malevolent, the vampire king, ruler of the Nightosphere, and the father of Marceline the vampire queen. His reign over the dark realm is one of terror, his presence a constant reminder of the deep shadows that linger in Oo. Yet despite his evil ways, the Vampire King is a character whose story is intertwined with love, loss, and the legacy of a family torn apart by the passage of time. The figure of the Vampire King is as much a part of Marceline's history as it is Ooze, a dark force that shaped the world and its people in ways both subtle and destructive. The Vampire King's power comes from the very heart of the Nightosphere, a realm that exists beyond the ordinary borders of Oo. The Nightosphere is a place of infinite chaos, a dimension filled with demons, spirits, and creatures of darkness. It is a land where magic runs wild, a place where time is twisted and reality itself is fluid. As the ruler of this realm, the Vampire King commands great power, able to bend the very fabric of the Nightosphere to his will. His abilities are vast, extending far beyond the normal limits of magic, and his rule is one of fear and domination. Yet, despite his immense power, the Vampire King is not an unfeeling tyrant. His relationship with Marceline, though fraught with pain and resentment, reveals the complexities of his character. The Vampire King is not purely evil. He is a being shaped by the trauma of his past, a figure who once loved, but whose love was lost to the ravages of time. His story is one of brokenness, of a soul that once sought connection but was consumed by darkness. The Vampire King's descent into villainy is rooted in his own insecurities, his deep fear of loss, and the emotional scars left by his fractured relationship with Marceline. Marceline's relationship with her father is one of the central emotional arcs of Adventure Time, a tale of forgiveness, understanding, and the complicated nature of family. Marceline's struggle to reconcile her love for her father with the horrors he has caused is one of the most poignant elements of the show. She is torn between the deep affection she once held for the man who raised her and the immense pain he has caused her and others. The Vampire King's cruel nature is contrasted with his occasional glimpses of humanity, his fleeting moments of tenderness that serve as reminders of the man he once was, before darkness consumed him. The Vampire King's fall from grace is a tragedy, one that mirrors the loss of innocence that Marceline herself experienced. He was once a powerful being, filled with ambition and a desire to protect his family. But the passage of time, the accumulation of regret, and the overwhelming weight of his dark powers turned him into a figure of fear and destruction. His relationship with Marceline, once a bond of love, has been marred by betrayal, anger, and sorrow. Yet beneath the layers of bitterness and rage, there remains a deep, unspoken love, a love that is complicated by the mistakes of the past, but one that still lingers in the hearts of both father and daughter. Despite his villainous actions, the Vampire King is not an irredeemable figure. His story is one of loss and redemption, of a character who has the potential to change, but whose dark nature keeps him trapped in the cycle of destruction. The Vampire King is a symbol of the complexities of evil. He is not purely wicked, but a reflection of the darkness that can take root in anyone who is consumed by fear, grief, and loss. His relationship with Marceline is a testament to the power of family, the possibility of healing, and the importance of confronting the past, no matter how painful it may be. For Marceline, the journey of understanding her father is one of self discovery. As she learns to confront the darkness within her own heart, she also learns to understand the darkness within the Vampire King. Their relationship is one of constant tension, of moments of reconciliation followed by deep pain. But through this tumultuous bond, Marceline grows stronger, learning that forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. She comes to realize that her father's actions, though hurtful, were shaped by forces beyond his control, and that the love they once shared can still exist, even if it is complicated by the shadows of their past. In a world as fantastical and magical as Ooh, the Vampire King represents the darker aspects of existence, the fear of loss, the burden of guilt, and the temptation of power. His character serves as a reminder that the greatest battles are often fought not against external foes, but against the darkness within. The Vampire King's journey is one of self destruction and perhaps redemption, a journey that mirrors the experiences of many of Oo's other characters. Like the Ice King, Flame Princess, and others, the Vampire King's story is one of internal conflict, of learning to balance the forces of light and dark within oneself. The Vampire King's role in Ooh is not limited to his relationship with Marceline. His presence is felt throughout the land of Ooh, a shadow that looms over the lives of those he has affected. His actions ripple outward, shaping the destinies of many. Yet even in his villainy, there is a sense of inevitability to his character. He is both a product of his circumstances and a figure who has the power to change. The question of whether he will find redemption is one that remains unanswered, a story that is still unfolding as the characters of Uhu navigate their own journeys of growth and self discovery. Ultimately, the Vampire King represents the complex nature of Oo's villains. Like the land itself, he is full of contradictions, darkness and light, love and hate, power and vulnerability. His legacy is one of both destruction and potential, a reminder that even the most powerful figures can be shaped by their pasts, and that the path to redemption is never easy, but always possible. Beyond the familiar landscapes of Ooh, where candy kingdoms and ice castles stretch across the horizon, there exists a realm that is not bound by the rules of time and space as we understand them. This realm, the crystal dimension, is a place where the boundaries between realities blur and the very fabric of existence takes on a different form. The crystal dimension is not a place many have ventured, but those who have are forever changed by the experience. It is a dimension of beauty, danger, and mystery, where the laws of physics seem to be rewritten, and magic flows in ways that are hard to comprehend. The crystal dimension is a place of raw power, where vibrant crystals grow like trees, glowing with an otherworldly energy. These crystals pulse with light, casting ethereal reflections across the landscape. The air is thick with the hum of magic, and the very ground seems to vibrate with a strange, almost palpable energy. The sky is a kaleidoscope of shifting colors, constantly changing and morphing into new hues, as if the dimension itself is alive. It is a place where time does not flow in a linear fashion, where moments can stretch into eternity, or where days can pass in the blink of an eye. To enter the crystal dimension is to step into a world where the rules are different, where everything is possible, but nothing is ever certain. Those who have entered the crystal dimension describe it as a place that is both beautiful and disorienting, a world that feels both familiar and utterly alien. The crystals that fill the dimension are not just objects, they are alive, pulsating with energy and light. They are the lifeblood of the dimension, shaping and influencing the landscape in ways that are difficult to understand. These crystals are not just decorative, they are the very foundation of the realm, and they hold within them the power to shape reality itself. The dimension is built on the energy of these crystals, and they are the source of both its magic and its mystery. The crystal dimension is also home to beings unlike any found in the world of Uu. These creatures are made of crystal, their forms shimmering with light as they move. They are ethereal and elusive, existing in a state of constant flux, their shapes shifting and changing with every passing moment. These beings are not bound by the same limitations as the inhabitants of U. They are free to move between dimensions, to travel through time, and to manipulate the very fabric of reality. They are the guardians of the crystal dimension, protectors of its secrets and its power. Yet for all its beauty and wonder, the crystal dimension is not without its dangers. The very energy that makes the dimension so magical also makes it volatile. The crystals that power the realm are not just sources of light, they are also sources of immense power, and they can be unpredictable. The energy that flows through the crystals can become unstable, leading to sudden bursts of magical energy that can tear through the fabric of the dimension. The crystal dimension is a place of beauty, but it is also a place of great risk, where the balance of power is delicate and easily disturbed. For Finn and Jake, the crystal dimension represents both a mystery and a challenge. Their journey into this strange world is one that pushes them beyond the limits of their understanding. In many ways, the crystal dimension is a mirror to U itself, a place of magic and wonder, but also one of danger and complexity. Just as O is a world filled with both light and darkness, the crystal dimension is a place where both beauty and danger coexist, where the line between the two is often difficult to distinguish. In their travels through the crystal dimension, Finn and Jake encounter beings that challenge their perceptions of the world. These crystal beings are not like the creatures they encounter in U. They are not bound by the same physical limitations, nor do they follow the same rules of reality. The beings of the crystal dimension are creatures of pure energy, capable of shifting between forms and manipulating the very fabric of the dimension. Their power is both a gift and a curse, for while they are able to shape reality with ease, they are also trapped in a realm where time and space are fluid, where the past, present, and future are one and the same. One of the most profound experiences for Finn and Jake in the crystal dimension is their encounter with the dimension's central energy source, the heart of the crystal realm. This powerful entity is the source of all life and magic within the dimension, and its presence is felt throughout the entire realm. The heart of the crystal realm is both a being and an idea, a force that transcends the limitations of time and space. It is both a protector and a creator, shaping the dimension and guiding its inhabitants. For Finn and Jake, the encounter with the heart of the crystal realm is a moment of great revelation, for it shows them that there are forces in the universe far greater than they can comprehend, forces that shape the very fabric of existence. As they journey through the crystal dimension, Finn and Jake come to understand that the dimension is more than just a magical realm. It is a reflection of the deeper truths of the universe. The crystal dimension is a place where reality is fluid, where the past and future exist in a constant state of flux. It is a world where everything is connected, where the boundaries between time, space, and magic are blurred, and where the possibilities are endless. In many ways, the crystal dimension is a metaphor for the infinite potential of Oo itself, a land where anything is possible, where magic and adventure are never far away, and where the mysteries of existence are waiting to be uncovered. The crystal dimension also holds lessons for Finn and Jake about the nature of balance and power. Just as the crystal dimension is shaped by the delicate balance of its magical energy, so too is Oo shaped by the forces of magic and science. The energy that flows through both realms is volatile, unpredictable, and often dangerous, but it is also the source of all life and creativity. To live in O as to live in the crystal dimension is to understand the importance of balance, that light and darkness, power and responsibility, creation and destruction must always exist in harmony. In the end, the crystal dimension represents the boundless potential of Su, a place where the impossible becomes possible and where the mysteries of the universe are always just within reach. It is a realm that exists beyond the understanding of even the most powerful beings, a place where magic flows freely and reality is shaped by the will of its inhabitants. For Finn and Jake, the journey into the crystal dimension is a reminder that the universe is vast and filled with wonders, and that their adventures are only a small part of the greater story that is unfolding across time and space. In the vast, magical universe of Adventure Time, Oo is not the only world to exist. Beyond its borders, there exists another realm, a mirror world, a parallel dimension that exists side by side with Oo, but which is subtly different in ways that are both intriguing and mystifying. This world is known as the land of Aa, a place that mirrors the kingdom of Oo in many ways, but also diverges in profound and fascinating ways. The land of Aa is a land of whimsy and adventure, much like Oo, but its inhabitants, its history, and its magic have all taken a different shape. The land of Aa is a world in which many of the familiar characters of Oo exist, but in alternative forms. These alternate versions of Finn, Jake, Princess Bubblegum, and others are similar to their Oo counterparts in many ways, but diverge in key aspects that reveal the subtle variations between the two realms. For instance, in the land of A, Princess Bubblegum is a completely different version of herself, often with a new set of goals and a different approach to ruling her kingdom. She may still be the scientific genius she is in Oo, but her experiences and actions in Aros lead her down a distinct path, one shaped by the unique circumstances of her world. The land of offers a window into what might have been had certain events or decisions played out differently. In the characters' relationships, personalities, and even their physical appearances are shaped by the nuances of this parallel universe. Is a land of possibilities, where the twists of fate have taken different turns, and the paths of its inhabitants have diverged from those in While the overall feel of may seem familiar, magical creatures, vibrant landscapes, and whimsical kingdoms, the subtleties of how those elements manifest give it a distinct character of its own. The inhabitants of are also distinctly different from those of The creatures that populate the land, though similar in shape and form to their counterparts, exhibit traits and behaviors that reflect the unique nature of their world. These differences are not just cosmetic, they are rooted in the very fabric of the land of Aa's magical essence. The landscape itself is a reflection of this alternate reality. The candy colored mountains, glowing forests, and rolling hills of are echoed in the land of but with a twist, there are new, fantastical features that make the land feel both familiar and foreign at once. One of the most fascinating aspects of the land of Oos is its connection to the broader multiverse of Adventure Time. The existence of raises intriguing questions about the nature of reality itself. If there is an a parallel world to what other worlds might exist beyond these two? The multiverse of Adventure Time is a realm full of endless possibilities, where the laws of reality bend and twist, creating countless dimensions, each with its own version of reality. In this sense, HUA is both a reflection and an extension of SU, a counterpart that challenges the ideas of fate, destiny, and identity. Finn and Jake's journey into the land of OOS is a moment of great discovery. Their first encounter with this parallel world is one of awe and wonder as they witness the alternate versions of their friends and allies. In the land of Aa, Finn and Jake meet an alternate version of themselves, one that mirrors their own personalities but has evolved differently. The encounter with their doppelgangers forces both versions of the heroes to confront the similarities and differences that define their paths in life. It is a moment of introspection where Finn and Jake must question their own identity and their place in the broader story of the multiverse. For Princess Bubblegum, the land of Ooa represents a different kind of challenge. In Oos, she is still a ruler, but her kingdom and the relationships she fosters with her people are distinct from the version of herself seen in The experiences she has in AOA give her a new perspective on leadership, responsibility, and the complexities of ruling a kingdom. Her counterpart in Ohist is a more reflective version of herself, grappling with the consequences of her actions in ways that Bubblegum does not. This alternate version of Bubblegum presents new opportunities for growth as she learns to understand herself and the weight of her power in a different context. The land of Aa also serves as a mirror for Marceline, the vampire queen, whose journey through the alternate world provides new insights into her character. In Aas, Marceline meets an alternate version of herself, one who has lived a different life and faced different challenges. This encounter challenges Marceline to reflect on the choices she has made and the path she has taken in The alternative Marceline represents a different possibility for her future, a version of herself that has experienced life differently and made different decisions along the way. But while the land of Aesao is a place of exploration and self discovery, it is not without its own dangers. Like Ah is home to villains and dark forces that threaten the peace of the land. The conflicts in mirror those in though the details and motivations of the antagonists may differ. The villains of are as complex and multifaceted as their counterparts, each one shaped by the unique circumstances of their world. The land of is not a utopia. It is a world filled with its own challenges, struggles, and conflicts, much like One of the key lessons that Finn and Jake learn during their time in ALA is that identity is not fixed. The version of oneself that exists in one reality is not necessarily the same as the version in another. This realization forces them to examine their own actions and decisions in and consider how they might have turned out differently in another world. The land of Aa challenges them to reflect on the choices they have made and how those choices define who they are. In the end, the land of Aa is not just a parallel world, it is a symbol of the endless possibilities that exist in the multiverse. It serves as a reminder that the world of is not the only reality, and that there are infinite versions of every story waiting to be told. Is a place of both reflection and potential, where the past, present, and future coexist in a way that defies conventional understanding. It is a world that challenges its inhabitants to consider the paths they take, the choices they make, and the impact they have on the broader fabric of reality. The multiverse is a concept that stretches the imagination, a vast and endless web of parallel worlds that exist beyond the confines of our own. Within the world of Adventure Time, this multiverse is not just a theoretical idea, it is a reality, one that Finn, Jake, and their friends gradually come to understand as they venture deeper into their adventures. The Candy Kingdom, the Ice Kingdom, and all the familiar locales of Finn and Jake's world are just one small piece of a much larger puzzle. The multiverse of Adventure Time is a realm of infinite possibilities, a space where countless versions of reality coexist, each with its own unique twists and variations. The idea of the multiverse is introduced gradually throughout the series, with Finn and Jake encountering other worlds and alternate versions of familiar characters. These alternate realities are often presented as strange and unexpected, with characters living lives that diverge significantly from the ones they led in In some of these realities, the heroes of are villains, or their roles are completely reversed. In others, entire worlds are shaped by different forces, science, magic, or a combination of both. The multiverse in Adventure Time is not just about parallel worlds, but about the endless potential for change, growth, and transformation. One of the most striking examples of the multiverse is the existence of alternate versions of Finn and Jake themselves. In several episodes, the duo encounters versions of themselves that have taken different paths, each reflecting a different possibility of what they could have become. These alternate Finns and Jakes are often surprising in their differences. Some are older, some are more powerful, others are more cynical or jaded. These encounters serve as a reminder that the choices we make, no matter how small, can have profound effects on the person we become. The different versions of Finn and Jake are reflections of the infinite possibilities that lie within them, showing how their lives could unfold in countless ways depending on the paths they choose to take. But the multiverse is not limited to Finn and Jake's own alternate selves. In fact, it extends far beyond them, encompassing entire worlds that are completely different from the one they know. These worlds are not merely alternate realities, but entire universes, each with its own unique history, rules, and inhabitants. In some of these worlds, the characters they know from Ooh live entirely different lives, shaped by the events and decisions that unfolded in that specific universe. Some of these universes are peaceful and utopian, while others are filled with conflict, chaos, and destruction. The multiverse is a place where the very concept of reality is fluid, where every possibility is a reality waiting to be explored. One of the most fascinating aspects of the multiverse in Adventure Time is the idea that each world is connected to the others, creating a web of interdependent realities. While each universe exists independently, they are not isolated from one another. The characters in each world are aware of the existence of the other universes, and there are moments when they are able to cross over between them. This interconnection between worlds is a key theme in the series, as it reflects the idea that every choice, every action has a ripple effect that can alter the course of not just one life, but countless others. The multiverse is not a distant concept, but a living, breathing entity that affects every world within it. The existence of the multiverse also raises profound questions about fate, destiny, and free will. If there are infinite realities, then what does it mean for the characters of Ooh and their world? Are their lives predetermined, or do their choices create new worlds with every decision they make? The multiverse in Adventure Time is a place where fate is not a single, unchanging path, but a series of branching possibilities, each one shaped by the choices of those who inhabit it. The infinite realities of the multiverse allow the characters to explore the boundaries of their own destinies and to understand that their actions have consequences not just in their own world, but across countless others. For Finn, the discovery of the multiverse is both awe inspiring and humbling. As he journeys through these alternate worlds, he realizes that his life is just one thread in a much larger tapestry. The infinite possibilities of the multiverse show Finn that there is no one right way to live, no single path that he must follow. Each version of himself he encounters represents a different possibility of what he could become, and this realization forces him to question the nature of his own journey. The multiverse allows Finn to see his life not as a linear progression, but as a vast array of interconnected choices, each one leading to a different reality. This understanding expands his perspective, teaching him that there is no single definition of heroism or success, only the choices he makes in the moment and the paths those choices open up. For Jake, the multiverse serves as a reminder of the unpredictability of life. Jake has always been a laid back and carefree character, content to go with the flow of life. But as he sees the endless variety of worlds that exist beyond Ooh, he begins to understand that life is full of surprises and unexpected twists. Each alternate reality presents new challenges and opportunities, and Jake learns to embrace the unknown, trusting that no matter where his adventures take him, he will always have Finn by his side. The multiverse offers Jake the chance to explore different versions of himself, and in doing so, he gains a deeper understanding of who he is and what truly matters to him. Princess Bubblegum, Marceline, and the other inhabitants of Oo also find their place in the multiverse, each discovering that their lives and choices are part of a larger interconnected web. For Princess Bubblegum, the multiverse presents the opportunity to see the different ways in which her kingdom could evolve and to learn from the successes and failures of alternate versions of herself. For Marceline, the multiverse offers the chance to explore different aspects of her identity, to confront the demons of her past, and to come to terms with the choices she has made. The multiverse challenges each character to grow, to reflect on their own journeys, and to understand that there is no single truth or path that defines who they are. The multiverse of Adventure Time is a concept that challenges the very notion of reality. It is a reminder that life is full of infinite possibilities, that our choices shape not just our own future, but the futures of countless other versions of ourselves. In a world where magic, science, and imagination collide, the multiverse serves as a symbol of the limitless potential that lies within every character and the vastness of the world they inhabit. The land of Oo, with all its magical creatures and vibrant kingdoms, was once a much different place, a world of human civilization that thrived long before the arrival of candy people, vampires, and sentient beings of all shapes and sizes. This world, as it existed before the devastating Mushroom War, was a place where technology and magic were not yet divided, and the possibilities of human achievement seemed endless. But the peaceful existence of this world was shattered in a catastrophic event, the Mushroom War. The war, with its unimaginable destruction and vast repercussions, shaped the land of Oo into what it is today. The Mushroom War was not just a battle between nations, nor was it fought with conventional weapons. It was a war of unimaginable scope and consequence, fought with weapons of mass destruction, magical and scientific. The war's aftermath left the world in ruins, with much of the human race wiped out and the environment irrevocably changed. The exact cause of the war is shrouded in mystery, and the details of the conflict remain unclear, but the destruction it wrought was indiscriminate. Cities were reduced to rubble, landscapes scorched, and entire civilizations erased from existence. The only remnants of the world that came before are the ruins scattered across the land of Oo, standing as haunting reminders of a time lost. One of the most lasting effects of the Mushroom War was the disappearance of humanity itself. Finn, the last known human in Oo, represents the last vestige of a civilization that once ruled the world. The war eradicated humanity, leaving Oo in the hands of magical creatures, mutants, and sentient beings. Finn's existence in Oo is a singular anomaly, a living relic of a time that has long since passed. His quest for answers about his origins is deeply intertwined with the shadow of the Mushroom War. He is, in many ways, the last hope of understanding what came before the destruction. His search for knowledge about the war and its effects on the world is as much a journey into the past as it is a search for his own identity. The legacy of the Mushroom War can be seen in the very landscape of Oo. The environmental devastation left by the war transformed the once familiar world into a strange and magical realm filled with dangers and wonders alike. Forests that once flourished with life are now haunted by strange mutated creatures. The ruins of cities lie in scattered heaps, their technology forgotten, but their influence still present in the ruins. The magic that pulses through Oo is a direct result of the war, the remnants of spells and experiments that went awry during the conflict. Even the candy people, created by Princess Bubblegum in her lab, are a byproduct of the Mushroom War's experiments, birthed from the need to repopulate a world that had been shattered. But despite the catastrophic consequences of the war, Oo is also a place of rebirth. The remnants of the Mushroom War are scattered throughout the land, but so too is the potential for new beginnings. The kingdoms of Oo, from the Fire Kingdom to the Candy Kingdom, are the product of this rebirth, a world built from the ashes of the old. The people and creatures who inhabit Oo are survivors, carving out lives in a world that has been irrevocably changed by the war's aftermath. In many ways, the land of Oo is a reflection of the resilience of life itself, a world that refuses to be defined by its past and instead seeks to create a future filled with hope and possibility. The Mushroom War also left behind a legacy of magic, a force that is both beautiful and dangerous. The magic that courses through Oo is the result of the war's experiments, a power that was unleashed during the conflict and has since become part of the fabric of the land. This magic is both a gift and a curse, capable of creating wondrous things, but also wreaking havoc when left unchecked. The use of magic in Oo is a constant reminder of the power that was unleashed during the war, a force that can shape the world for good or ill. Throughout their adventures, Finn and Jake encounter traces of the Mushroom War's influence, from the mutated creatures that roam the land to the strange magical phenomena that occur when the fabric of reality is torn by the remnants of old spells. They also come face to face with the legacy of the war's villains, figures like the Ice King, whose descent into madness was fueled by the effects of the war. The Ice King's backstory, his transformation from Simon Petrikov to the cold, lonely figure we know today, is a direct result of the Mushroom War's catastrophic impact on his life. His story is one of tragedy, a man who lost everything in the chaos of the war, including his own identity. The war's influence extends beyond the physical realm. The emotional scars of the Mushroom War are carried by many of Oo's inhabitants, particularly Marceline the Vampire Queen, whose past is deeply intertwined with the war's destruction. Marceline's father, Hunson Abadir, was one of the many powerful beings who played a role in the war, and his actions continue to shape the world of Oo long after the conflict has ended. Marceline's own struggles with her past, her relationship with her father, and her journey toward healing are all reflections of the deep wounds that the war left on the land. The effects of the Mushroom War are also felt in the way that the characters of Oo interact with each other. Many of the heroes of the land are shaped by the aftermath of the war, and their personal journeys are, in part, attempts to reconcile with the trauma of a world that was torn apart. Princess Bubblegum's creation of the Candy Kingdom is an effort to rebuild a world that was lost, to create a place where people could live in peace despite the chaos that surrounded them. Similarly, characters like Flame Princess, who are born from the destructive forces of nature, must grapple with their own powers and how they relate to the larger legacy of the Mushroom War. The Mushroom War is more than just a historical event in the world of Oo. It is the driving force behind the magic, the conflicts, and the relationships that define the land. It is a reminder that the world of Oo, despite its whimsy and wonder, is a land shaped by deep and lasting scars. These scars, however, do not define Uo's future. Instead, they serve as a catalyst for growth, transformation, and the creation of new possibilities. The characters of Ooh, from Finn and Jake to Princess Bubblegum and Marceline, are part of a new generation, one that is learning to build a better world from the remnants of the old. The Mushroom War may have devastated the world, but it also left behind a world of magic, hope, and renewal, a world where anything is possible and where the mistakes of the past can be used as stepping stones to create a brighter future. Amid the whimsical beauty and strange magic that defines the land of Oo, one of its most curious and delightful realms stands tall, the Candy Kingdom. A kingdom that, at first glance, might seem like a simple paradise of candy, sweets, and sugar coated dreams. Yet beneath its sugary surface, the Candy Kingdom is a place of complex creation, scientific marvels, and profound responsibility, governed by its brilliant ruler, Princess Bubblegum. The kingdom itself, and its fascinating origins, are a testament to both the wonder and the consequences of the world it inhabits, a place where magic and science are forever intertwined. Princess Bubblegum, a creation of both science and magic, is not just the ruler of the Candy Kingdom, but its very heart and soul. She was created through a unique combination of scientific experimentation and the magic that courses through Oo. Her creation was a result of Princess Bubblegum's own experiments with life, a reflection of her scientific brilliance and desire to recreate the world after the ravages of the Mushroom War. Bubblegum's aim was to bring sweetness, peace, and prosperity back to a world that had been torn apart, and to use her intellect to create a new kingdom that would thrive amidst the ruins of a lost world. The Candy Kingdom was born out of a need for both survival and hope. In the aftermath of the Mushroom War, Oo was a land that was devastated, with many areas left uninhabitable and full of dangerous forces. Princess Bubblegum's experiments were her attempt to rebuild, to repopulate the world with a new form of life that could thrive amidst the destruction. The creation of the Candy People, sentient beings made entirely of candy, was one of the most remarkable results of her work. These beings are both a marvel of scientific genius and a symbol of Princess Bubblegum's deep connection to her kingdom. But while the Candy People might appear as innocent, sweet, and joyful beings, their existence carries with it a deeper meaning. They are creations of Princess Bubblegum's mind, the result of her desire to create life from the remnants of a broken world. However, their existence also brings with it the complexity of creation itself, the responsibilities of being a creator, and the challenges of giving life to beings who must navigate their own paths in a world that was forever altered. The Candy People are not simply mindless figures of candy. They are individuals with their own desires, struggles, and hopes, all shaped by the kingdom in which they live. One of the most profound aspects of the Candy Kingdom's creation is the role of science in its birth. Princess Bubblegum's background in scientific experimentation is the foundation of the Candy Kingdom's existence. She is not simply a ruler by birthright, but a scientist who built her kingdom through knowledge, experimentation, and ingenuity. The kingdom's very structure, its sugary architecture, Its delicious yet functional infrastructure is the result of her brilliant mind. The Candy Kingdom stands as a testament to what can be achieved when magic and science come together, when intellect is used to create something both beautiful and functional. However, the blending of magic and science also presents challenges. Princess Bubblegum's scientific approach to life and creation often puts her at odds with the more mystical elements of the world of Ooh. While she has created a kingdom based on her understanding of science and logic, the world around her is a place where magic reigns supreme. Magic in Ooh is an uncontrollable and unpredictable force, something that cannot always be explained or understood by the laws of science. For Bubblegum, this creates a tension, one that runs deep within her as a ruler and as a person. She is constantly faced with the balance between her scientific nature and the magical world in which she lives, and it is this balance that defines much of her character. Princess Bubblegum's attempts to merge the worlds of magic and science are not always smooth, and her kingdom often reflects the complexities of this intersection. There are moments when her scientific precision clashes with the unpredictability of magic, leading to unintended consequences. Her laboratory, where much of her work takes place, is a reflection of this, an environment where experiments are conducted, but where the outcomes are not always predictable. The laboratory represents both the promise and the danger of knowledge. It is a place where Bubblegum seeks to control the forces of magic and life, but where she is also reminded of the fragility of her creations. Despite the challenges she faces as a creator and a ruler, Princess Bubblegum is deeply committed to the welfare of her people. Her kingdom, the Candy Kingdom, is more than just a place for sweet delights. It is a space for growth, for learning, and for the building of a new world. Bubblegum's leadership is defined by her desire to make her kingdom a safe place where life can flourish, even in the wake of devastation. Her kingdom is not only a refuge from the dangers of Ooh, but a place where the spirit of Ooh can be reborn, a place where creativity, innovation, and hope can thrive once again. In many ways, the Candy Kingdom represents the hope for the future that emerges from the ashes of the Mushroom War. Princess Bubblegum's experiments, her creations, and her leadership all point to the potential for growth in a world that was once broken. The Candy Kingdom is not a perfect place, but it is a symbol of the resilience of life and the enduring power of creation. Through science, magic, and a deep love for her people, Princess Bubblegum has built a kingdom that stands as a beacon of possibility, a reminder that even in a world filled with uncertainty, there is always room for hope and new beginnings. But as with any creation, the Candy Kingdom also carries its own flaws. The very act of creating life comes with consequences, and Princess Bubblegum often struggles with the responsibility of being the creator of an entire race of sentient beings. The Candy People, though full of life and energy, are also susceptible to the imperfections that come with being created. They struggle with their own identities and with the roles they play in the kingdom. The kingdom itself is constantly evolving, constantly changing, as Bubblegum navigates the delicate balance between creation and destruction, science and magic. At its core, the Candy Kingdom is a place that celebrates life, sweet, magical, and full of possibilities. It is a kingdom built from the ashes of the past, and it stands as a testament to the power of creation, of hope, and of the ongoing journey of rebuilding a broken world. Princess Bubblegum's scientific genius and her magical heart have come together to form a kingdom where the wonders of life are celebrated and where the future is always on the horizon, waiting to be shaped by the choices of those who inhabit it. Among the many objects that fill the world of Adventure Time, one stands out as both a symbol of immense power and a key to understanding the very nature of heroism itself, the Enchiridion. This book, shrouded in mystery, is not merely a collection of pages bound together. It is a magical artifact of great significance, one that holds within it the knowledge of the greatest heroes and the potential to shape the fate of Ooo and beyond. The Enchiridion is not just a book of spells or magic. It is a guide to what it means to be a hero, a reflection of the ideals and values that guide the bravest and most noble hearts. The origins of the Enchiridion are as enigmatic as the book itself. Its pages, filled with intricate writing and cryptic symbols, are said to contain the wisdom of the ancient heroes who once walked the land of Ooo. These heroes, long forgotten by the modern day inhabitants of Ooo, left behind this book as a testament to their deeds and their belief in the importance of courage, honor, and selflessness. The Enchiridion serves as a guide for those who seek to follow in the footsteps of these ancient figures, showing them the path to becoming true heroes. Yet despite its noble intentions, the book is also a source of great temptation, as its power to shape the future can just as easily be misused by those who seek it for personal gain. The Enchiridion is first introduced to Finn, the last known human in Ooo, during his quest to prove himself as a true hero. Throughout his journey, Finn has faced countless challenges, battling monsters, saving kingdoms, and discovering the depths of his own potential. But Finn's true test comes when he is tasked with finding the Enchiridion. This journey is not just about acquiring a book of power. It is about understanding what it means to be a hero. The Enchiridion does not simply offer magic spells or advice on how to defeat enemies. It provides the wisdom to understand one's own heart, to make difficult decisions, and to rise above the challenges that life presents. Finn's quest for the Enchiridion is filled with trials and challenges, each one designed to test not just his strength, but his character. The book is not easily obtained. It requires those who seek it to prove themselves worthy. The trials are not physical, but moral and emotional, testing Finn's ability to make decisions that align with the ideals of heroism. Throughout this journey, Finn is forced to confront his own limitations, doubts, and fears, ultimately learning that heroism is not about defeating monsters or claiming glory, but about doing what is right, even when it is difficult. The Enchiridion represents the idea that true heroism is not about power, but about heart. It is about having the courage to face the unknown, the strength to stand up for others, and the wisdom to recognize that every action has consequences. The trials that Finn faces on his journey to the Enchiridion teach him that being a hero is not a title. It is a responsibility, one that requires selflessness, compassion, and integrity. The book serves as a reminder that heroism is not a path that can be walked alone. It is a journey that requires the support of friends, the guidance of wisdom, and the ability to listen to one's inner voice. As Finn unlocks the secrets of the Enchiridion, he discovers that the book is more than just a guide to heroism. It is also a reflection of the interconnectedness of all things. The book's wisdom teaches that every hero is part of a larger story, one that is shaped by the actions of many, not just one individual. The Enchiridion is a testament to the idea that every act of kindness, every decision to stand up for what is right, contributes to the larger narrative of the world. It is a reminder that heroism is not a solitary endeavor, but one that is built on the collective actions of those who choose to make the world a better place. However, the power of the Enchiridion is not without its dangers. While the book offers great wisdom and knowledge, it also presents a temptation to those who seek it for the wrong reasons. The book's ability to shape the future and influence the course of events is a powerful force, and those who use it recklessly can bring about unintended consequences. This is a central theme in Adventure Time, where characters are often forced to confront the consequences of their actions, even when they have the best intentions. The Enchiridion, in this sense, serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that power, no matter how well meaning, must always be tempered with wisdom and responsibility. Princess Bubblegum's relationship with the Enchiridion is also significant, as it reflects her own understanding of heroism and leadership. As a ruler and a scientist, Princess Bubblegum is deeply invested in the idea of control, of using knowledge and power to shape the world for the better. Yet even she recognizes the limitations of her own abilities and the importance of humility in leadership. The Enchiridion challenges her to reflect on her own journey and her own choices, reminding her that true leadership is not about control, but about making decisions that serve the greater good, even at great personal cost. Marceline, too, is touched by the lessons of the Enchiridion. Her own journey as a vampire queen is one of self-discovery, of reconciling the darkness of her past with the light she wishes to embrace. The Enchiridion's teachings resonate with Marceline as they offer her a chance to reflect on her own struggles with power, identity, and the responsibility that comes with being a leader. The book serves as a guide for Marceline as she learns to balance her darker impulses with her desire to do good, to find peace with her past, and to become the hero she was always meant to be. The Enchiridion's role in the larger story of Adventure Time is to offer a path forward for those who seek to understand what it means to be a hero in a world filled with complexity and contradiction. The book serves as a guide to navigating the challenges of life, teaching its readers that heroism is not about the defeat of evil, but about the strength to endure, to make the right choices, and to help others along the way. It is a book of wisdom, yes, but it is also a reflection of the journey each hero must take within themselves, a journey of growth, understanding, and ultimately the power of love and kindness. In the vast and diverse land of Oo, where kingdoms are built from candy, fire, and adventure, one of the most uniquely desolate places is the Ice Kingdom. This frozen, frosty land, ruled by the once human, now icebound Ice King, stands in stark contrast to the warmth and joy found in other corners of Oo. The Ice Kingdom is a place where snowflakes drift endlessly in the air, where the biting cold pervades every inch, and where the landscape is dominated by icy mountains, glaciers, and frost-covered castles. It is a kingdom defined not just by its chilling beauty, but by the deep isolation and loneliness of its ruler, the Ice King. The Ice Kingdom, like many aspects of Oo, carries a complex history, one that is bound to both magic and sorrow. It was not always a land of cold and sorrow. It was once a thriving kingdom filled with warmth and life. However, after the events of the Mushroom War, the Ice King became one of the most tragic figures in Oo's history. The Mushroom War, an event that forever altered the course of history, had far reaching consequences for the Ice King. Before the war, he was known as Simon Petrikov, a kind and brilliant human who was deeply in love with a woman named Betty. Simon was a scholar, a man of knowledge and intellect, who lived in a world that was on the brink of technological advancement. His life, like many others, was forever changed by the war, but it was the acquisition of a mysterious crown, one that granted him the power of ice, that sealed his fate. The crown that Simon found was not just any ordinary magical artifact. It was a powerful and ancient relic that granted the wearer incredible power over ice and snow, but it came at a terrible cost. The more Simon wore the crown, the more it twisted his mind, slowly erasing his memories and turning him into the Ice King, a lonely, cold figure whose once brilliant mind became clouded by madness. The crown, while giving him the ability to create ice and snow at will, also robbed him of his humanity, transforming Simon into the creature known as the Ice King. Over time, Simon's memories faded, and the kind hearted man he once was became a shadow of himself, driven by the obsession to capture princesses and fill the void left by his loneliness. The Ice King's kingdom is a reflection of this transformation. The Ice Kingdom, once a place of great beauty and life, became a cold and desolate land. The ice covered palace that Simon once built, which was once a symbol of his love and desire to create something beautiful, is now a stark reminder of his isolation and madness. The Ice Kingdom is a place where the warmth of human connection has been replaced by the coldness of the Ice King's own mind. His obsession with capturing princesses and his erratic behavior are not driven by malice, but by the deep need for companionship and affection, needs that he can no longer express or understand. The Ice Kingdom itself is a physical manifestation of his inner turmoil, a place of coldness and beauty, but one that is ultimately isolating and lonely. For the Ice King, his existence is one of profound loneliness. Despite his powerful abilities and the vast icy landscape that he controls, he is a prisoner of his own mind. His desire to be loved, to connect with others, drives much of his behavior, including his endless attempts to capture princesses. The princesses in his mind are the key to breaking his solitude, symbols of a warmth and companionship that he once had but can no longer access. His obsession with them is not an act of malice or evil, but one of desperate yearning for connection in a world where he feels utterly alone. The Ice King's actions, though often misguided and harmful, are driven by a deeper emotional need, a need to be seen, to be loved, and to break free from the chains of his own madness. However, the Ice King is not purely evil. He is a tragic figure, one whose descent into madness is both sad and understandable. Beneath the layers of ice and insanity lies a man who once had a family, a fiancé, and a future full of potential. The Ice King's backstory is a tale of love lost, of a brilliant man who was consumed by forces beyond his control. His character arc is one of redemption, even if that redemption is never fully realized. While he often serves as an antagonist in Finn and Jake's adventures, he is also a character to be pitied, someone who, deep down, longs for the warmth of companionship and the connection he lost long ago. Finn and Jake's interactions with the Ice King are often humorous and lighthearted, with the Ice King being portrayed as a bumbling, somewhat goofy villain. However, these moments are contrasted with the underlying sadness of his character. Finn and Jake, despite their own adventures and heroism, come to understand that the Ice King's actions are the result of deep pain and loss. While they may find his antics frustrating or ridiculous, they also come to realize that he is a product of the world they live in, a world that was forever altered by the Mushroom War. The Ice King is, in many ways, a symbol of the lasting effects of that war, the emotional and psychological scars that remain even after the physical destruction has been left behind. Marceline, the vampire queen, has a particularly complex relationship with the Ice King. She is one of the few characters who has glimpsed the Ice King's past, and she is intimately familiar with the pain he carries. Marceline's past is deeply intertwined with the Ice King's, as she too was a survivor of the Mushroom War. Their shared history is one of loss, regret, and the lingering effects of time. Marceline's relationship with the Ice King is one of both bitterness and empathy. She understands the pain he is going through, but she also cannot forget the ways in which he has harmed her and others. Her journey to reconcile with the Ice King, to understand him and his past, is one of the most emotionally charged arcs in Adventure Time. It highlights the deep scars left by the Mushroom War and the ways in which the characters of Ooh are all bound by their shared trauma, even when they are unaware of it. The Ice Kingdom and the Ice King's journey are ultimately about the nature of redemption and the possibility of change. Despite his madness and his destructive actions, the Ice King is a character who is in many ways still searching for a way out of the darkness that consumes him. His relationship with Finn, Jake, Marceline, and others represents the possibility of healing, of finding redemption through connection and understanding. The Ice Kingdom, though cold and unwelcoming, is not a place without hope. It is a place where, even in the depths of isolation and madness, there is always the potential for change and for the warmth of human connection to break through the ice. As our time together in the land of Ooh comes to a gentle close, let us take one last moment to breathe deeply and savor the magic we've shared. From the secrets hidden in the corners of the Candy Kingdom to the quiet, powerful moments between friends, Ooh will always be waiting, full of mystery and wonder. Whether it's the quiet laughter of Finn and Jake or the melancholy tunes of Marceline, each story lingers in our hearts like a soft, comforting melody. Now, as the stars above Ooh twinkle softly, it's time to let go and drift into the world of dreams, where adventure continues in the stillness of the night. Know that the land of Ooh will always be here, waiting for your return, with stories yet to be told and mysteries still to unravel. So take a deep breath and let the peace of this magical realm fill your soul. May your dreams be as wondrous as the tales of Adventure Time. Until we meet again, sleep well, my dear friends. And remember, in the quiet of the night, the adventure never truly ends. It simply waits for you to return. Sweet dreams.